This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura Integra. $229 a month. It's the season of performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231. In Plantation, 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
It's game day at Toyota of Hollywood. Our All-Stars are here to give you our MVP experience. Join the fun and feast on discounts up to $4,500. Huddle up and score big on a 25 Corolla. Not $26,000, $17,988. It's a tailgate party you don't want to miss. So gobble up the savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, Sam, not again.
Initiating Daddy's back.
Go!
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Canesware. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Canesware has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at canesware.com. Canesware, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt & Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt & Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura ADX. $239 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. Ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard to the Big O Radio Show. Yes, sir. Powered, mastered, and dominated by the one and only Sean Stanley on a Friday, January 16, 2026. It is day number 18,992 since the Miami Dolphins were world champions. And it's been 8,775 days since the Miami Hurricanes were national champions. So the question is, do we reset that counter on Monday night? We're going to find out. We're going to have a post-game show for you there. Have some fun. I don't even know. Maybe I should do a pre-game show for the hell of it. I don't know. That would be 3 shows that day. Probably not. Pre-game will be the morning. Next year, if they do this again, then we'll go all the way. We'll do that. We will have a little fun with that. But on Monday night, we will get Manny Navarro also fresh from the locker rooms and post-game and all that good stuff. So we'll talk to him. Maybe I'll try to squeeze in and try to do some other things too, since it'll be a special night. Hopefully, it'll be a happy night for us. Either way, it's a special night because the Canes program is back. And I get it. You want to win a national title, obviously. But the good thing is that Mario has got it rolling now that he should be able to get back to the playoffs on a consistent basis. Okay, I'm not saying that you can't get tripped up every once in a while. It could happen, injuries, whatever. Ball bounces the wrong way for you a couple times in a season or something. It could happen. But overall, moving forward, recruiting and everything else, he has got this thing going in the right direction. So we got to feel really good about that they have turned the corner that the Dolphins, can never turn. So that is actually really, really cool, because for a while there, neither one of our football teams were turning the corner. So either way, I'm obviously will be disappointed if they lose, but we cannot be disappointed in the season itself, because the season itself has been an absolute success. So good stuff by Mario and everybody else. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. All right. Hit that thing, baby. Hit that thing. And by the way, the Hoosiers have stuck to that 8.5. It opened at 7.5. It was 7.5 on Monday. And since then, it has stayed at 8.5, and it has not moved. And so there's a part of me, I already took a bet at 8.5, but me, I love the live line. So what I'm doing now is I'll wait for the start of the game, and if Indiana does anything early at the beginning where they're driving and all that, the points will go up, and then maybe I can get a second bet in there and get more points too at the same time. So we'll see. I love the fact that the Canes are the underdog. They're the ones that aren't really being given the opportunity to kind of win this game. And listen, the Canes have kind of earned it. Yeah, because you played a really sloppy game against Ole Miss. And because you played a sloppy game against Ole Miss, this is what happens. And by the way, the sloppiness has been around in their game in the past. That's one of those things that has frustrated us with Mario in the past. Whereas in the last few weeks, they were playing pretty clean football. And in that game against Ole Miss, you and I know Ole Miss had no business being on the same field with Miami. None. The only reason it was a game, it was because Miami kept screwing up. If Miami doesn't screw up, then all of a sudden you've got yourself a completely different situation here, So if Miami doesn't screw up, you win that game comfortably, and maybe the point spread's a little different. Maybe things are viewed a little different. But in our world, it really can't be viewed different. If Miami plays a clean game, they have every chance to win this game. if Miami goes out there and plays the Ole Miss game, you and I know they're going to lose this game. So that's where you have to be, honest with yourself. So that is what people see. That is the reality, okay? Because we all know when the Canes don't go in focused and they don't play smart, they hurt themselves in the process. And they end up losing the SMU and losing the Louisville and making other games interesting, like the Ole Miss game, when it had really no business to be an interesting game. So that's the reality right now. And that's the position that Miami is in. And it's a beautiful thing to be the underdog, because once you bust through that glass ceiling and once you have gone through that threshold that we've all been waiting for, and if you could get through it and become a national champion, the following year, you're not going to be an underdog. You're not going to be disrespected or whatever it is. And it's really not a disrespect. Indiana is undefeated. They have played a clean style of football, and especially here during the playoffs and in this stretch run and in the Big Ten championship and all of that. They've been on national television, high-profile moments, and they have played at a high level, at a proficient and professional high level. Okay, Signetti has got them running like a fine-tuned machine. And so that's why they get this. And Miami should be the underdog, should be the one that is looked at as the lesser team. They've got 2 losses. And they've got a super ugly loss to Louisville. And they played an ugly game in order to get into the national championship game. So that's why this is looking the way it's looking. And it's good. It's good. It humbles Miami. And Miami needs to be humbled because they haven't arrived. Now, if you can put your shit together, I think the combination of them screwing up in that Ole Miss game and making it a game, and then they look at Indiana and say, oh, shit, they played a clean-ass game. And then I'm sure Mario and company replayed the Ohio State game and goes, all right, so which one do you guys want to be? You want to be the guy – you want to be this team that played against Ole Miss, or do you want to be this team that played against Ohio State? That's really what it's all about. So which team do you want to be? That's the question. And that's what we've got to find out, because you and I know if the team against Ole Miss or the team against Louisville or the team against SMU shows up, they lose. They will lose on Monday night. It's really not that difficult. You don't have to break it down any other way. They have to play a smart and clean game. They're not good enough to play a sloppy game and beat Indiana. You played a sloppy game and you beat Ole Miss. You're not going to do that against Indiana. They're actually better. So I don't care about the IU logo. I don't care about the lack of history. I don't care about any of that shit. None of that matters anymore. Okay? They're here. They've proven it over and over again that they belong here. So there's no reason to take them lightly. And they got a hell of a coach. And they've got a hell of a system. And they've got a culture. And they've got everything. Right now, everything is in place for them to have a ton of success. And they're where Miami needs to be. And on Monday night, if they play a clean game, they will be there and they will end up being the national champions. It's pretty simple. It's really not that difficult. Play a good game and you win it. Play a sloppy game, Mendoza and company will end up being the national champions. That's all. All right. Ooh, the Hollywood Vampires have announced a tour. That's Joe Perry, Johnny Depp, Alice Cooper, and Tommy Henriksen. Let me see. It's in London, Cardiff, Scarsborough, Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham. It's all in Europe, man, in England, everywhere. Halifax, Nuremberg, Paris, Cologne, Hamburg, Milan. All right. You lucky bastards, you're getting some Hollywood vampires. I want to see those guys. I bet you the Hollywood vampires would like never come here. You know? I need a tour where they come over here. Usually in the US they do like selective dates. They don't do like a big old tour. It's actually a pretty cool band to check out. I got their CD that they did put out. Anyway, we got David Furones will join us. We will have Steve Calabro with the Wise Guy picks. So we've got all of that coming on. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about, obviously with the Dolphins, with the Heat, with the Canes, all kinds of good stuff here on the show. What else? You know, Sean, I am working on being an Oscar winner. I've got some information that I can blackmail somebody for, and they want an Oscar, so they're going to give it to me. So if, you know, that's the new thing, right? I mean, if they give it to you, you want it, right? That's kind of the way it goes. That's, you know, that's the new thing. So I am going to try to collect an Oscar, an Emmy, you know, everything. Just what the hell? Collect it and then put it in my mantle. Say, see, I won this Golden Globe. You know, that kind of stuff. Maybe I can find a Nobel Peace Prize somewhere too. You know, I think that's the new thing now. Okay, that's what I got to do. Buy it, steal it, you know, force them to give it to me, that kind of stuff. I need things to improve the resume. You know what I'm saying? Golden Globe winner, Big O. Isn't that better? Isn't that better? Oscar winner, Big O. You know, that's the kind of stuff that really matters. So I gotta work on that now to improve the resume a little bit, because that's the new thing to do nowadays. By the way, don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Okay? Appreciate that. You can make a donation to the show, of course, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Bitcoin, by the way, is around 95.5, so it is held here the last couple of days after pumping up from the low 80s all the way up from January 1st, pretty much. Right on the first of the year, we've been on a upward trajectory, and then the last day here, we have now leveled off here and maybe found a little home before we take off again upward, which would be a really, really good thing. Looking forward to it. The market, I think, opened up in a little red this morning. Unfortunately, the Dow is down almost 70 points. The S&P is slightly up 3.5 points, and the NASDAQ is up a hair. It's not really much, but it's up at least. You know, better than red. It's slightly green. Anthony Kyle Campos. Sean canceled to cold outside Acura next week. Acura is always next week. It's the last Friday of the month. I got like a tweet in the morning, and the guy was like, "Hey, you're gonna be at an Acura today, huh? Outside, you're gonna be freezing your ass off." And I'm thinking, like, so that's what's bothering you this morning. You're thinking about me being outside in Acura freezing. Not like, hey, dude, I'm sorry about you being at Acura and freezing or, you know, whatever or something. No. It's like, yeah, you're going to be at Acura. You're going to be freezing. It's like they live for it or something. Yes, sir, Sean.
I don't think that they understand. Like, cold weather does not bother me.
Yeah, no, you are a polar bear.
Yeah, it wouldn't be me canceling. And we did it last week, which was the second Friday, and there's 5 Fridays this month. So it will be on the 30th that we will be at Acura.
Oh, we're 2
Friday of the month. Yeah.
We're 2 Fridays.
That's the thing that, you know, they don't understand how the schedule works. It's the second and last Friday of the month. So
right.
We did our Acura. We were in studio the whole time. It wasn't because it's cold or anything else.
And I'm in
We're
a
the
nice.
post office. Rain, snow, sleet, or hail. We'll be out there doing the remotes if it's.
Oh yeah, we will be doing it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those deals where it's I don't know. It's like they're looking forward to me freezing my ass off out there in Acura, because I would be cold. Like Sean would be laughing at it and all that. You know, I've told the story. We're in New York and it's lightly snowing, and he's in a t-shirt walking around filming, and I have like a shirt, a sweater, a jacket, and I'm still cold. You know, so yeah, it's not a good thing, and especially with my whole mucus thing, the cold. What's it going to do? Make it worse for the moment. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy, dude. It really is. Had my lungs checked yesterday too for my operation. Everything kosher. So that's good. It's just sinus. Whatever I have is just kind of there. I even asked the doc, what can we do? He's like, you can't do anything. It's just got to get out of your system. That's all it is. Kind of sucks. What are you going to do, right? Anyway. What else do we have here? I see NorCal is number 1. It's Friday. You ain't got a job. You ain't got shit to do. I'm going to get you high, Craig. Have a great day, Big O. Little Friday. Jaybird is in the house. Kosa in. Says, how should we expect a new head coach to be named? I heard McDaniel has been seen at various airports traveling circus clown show. I would imagine by the Senior Bowl they would have one, unless they want Clint Kubiak and he makes it all the way to the Super Bowl or something like that. You know, something, or Salah and they make it to the Super Bowl and then they've got to wait to hire their coach. And then you'll know at that point. When you haven't hired anybody, that's because you want one of the guys that's still left in the playoffs. So either you will settle for it right before the Senior Bowl next week or 2 weeks, week and a half. And then if you don't get it by the Senior Bowl, then that tells you whoever they want is in the Super Bowl. Because by the Senior Bowl, the AFC and NFC conference games are done. So at that point, they're done, and then those candidates will meet the team right away, either here or in Mobile, to kind of start finalizing everything. That's how it'll happen. Because by then, you had whittled it down, you know, and you won't have much. But now that one of the 9 jobs is taken, and you have the top domino fall, this allows now Stefanski to settle in and find his home because he's the number 2. And then everything else, then everybody else starts saying, okay, we better get the guy we really want and do it right away. And then that's when you'll start seeing the dominoes fall a lot faster after Stefanski decides. Because as we've talked about this, Stefanski and Harbaugh, we've told you this for a couple of weeks now, they'll probably take the Giants, Tennessee, Atlanta jobs, right? And maybe even the Raiders also. Those are the top 4 jobs considered. Whatever I don't care your agreements or disagreements with it. It doesn't matter to me. That's what the perennial thought is. So the thought for me has always been, okay, Harbaugh will take the Giants, or maybe the other jobs if he doesn't, settle with the Giants. And then Stefanski takes the other spots, probably with a quarterback. The thing is, do you want to deal with the woman in Tennessee? Clearly, she's an idiot. So you've got to work for this dumb broad, and that's really tough. You've got a quarterback, but you got to work for a dumb broad. So that's really the whole, it's like having to work for a bad owner. Okay, this is a dumb broad. You got a bad owner, unfortunately. It is what it is. What can I tell you? But we'll see what ends up happening. Arthur Blank's a great owner. The Raiders, I wouldn't call Davis a great owner. I think he's a mediocre owner. But now with the whole Brady thing, It's kind of like Spanos. Spanos is a dog shit owner for the Chargers, but he all of a sudden wanted to really do something. And if you're going to recruit Harbaugh's going to make you spend money. So Spanos all of a sudden is willing to spend money. So I think if you brought Brady over, you're willing to spend some money. We'll see. Now, do they do some of the crazier things that Miami or Dallas or some other teams are willing to do? Probably not. But they are now willing to go to other extremes that they weren't in the past. So we'll see how it all turns out. But we should get a coach by the Senior Bowl. If you don't get it by the Senior Bowl, then that tells you the person you want is still in the Super Bowl. So let's see what else. Jeff in Long Island, true Finn fan. Let's see. I was surprisingly promoted yesterday by the director of South Florida herself, and have a new schedule now. Monday through Friday, I could get used to this. Grateful. All right, good for you, true Finn fan. Good for you, my brother. Jack Sultan in the house. Would be sweet to finish the year kicking some Hoosier butt. It would be nice. It would be nice to have the Canes win, man. And by the way, beating Indiana would be pretty damn impressive because you're beating an undefeated team and a team that has played really, really well. So it's going to be pretty sweet if you can get over that hump. Alejandro, good morning, O and Sean. Today is the big day. We get rid of some football nightmares. Why is today the big day? We get rid of football nightmares. Do you know what he's talking about? All right, you got me, bro. You went right over me here. I don't know what we're talking about. But I hope it happens. Whatever it is you're talking about, my brother, I hope it happens. Dolphin Dave in... Yeah, we'll go over Waller's comments, and we'll talk about that. Let's see. Eric, Panthers at the White House yesterday. Yes, I saw it. Sped through most of the orangutans BS. And then, although I will say Vinny Viola and company played it perfectly, bro. They just kissed up to him and said, "Oh, we're honored to be here. Honored to be here." I'd say, all you got to do is, massage his little tiny ego, and then you're all right. So, they gave him the gold stick. Yeah, baby, and they gave him 2 rings, by the way. Okay, 2 rings, last year and this year. Horn Dog is in the house. He earned those, by the way. In 1 week, Donald Trump is a 2-time Stanley Cup winner and a Nobel Peace Prize winner. No, what 2 weeks? In 24 hours. In 24 hours, that man now has 2 honors to his name. 2-time Stanley Cup winner. The orangutan Trump. Nobel Peace Prize winner. The orangutan. Telling you, bro. It's impressive. Go collect your prizes. You don't have to earn them anymore. Let's see. Horn Dog is in the house. Big Johnson loving it. Dub saying, Big O, I need a pick-me-up, my brother. I can't stand this organization I've been in bed with for over 25 plus years. When my uncle took me to see Jay Fiedler stomp the Seahawks week 1, now we're just a joke. I have no pickups for you. I'm not going to, you guys know I don't lie to you guys. I don't need to do that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to, I'm going to be brutally honest about our teams. And look, this was the most uninspiring offseason ever for the Dolphins. They made it slightly better because they fired Mike McDaniel. Because if you bring back Mike McDaniel, you really I told you I was going to eliminate the pregame show. I wasn't even going to bother doing pregame next year. You know what I mean? And I'm sure the post games were not going to be very long. They were going to be pretty damn short. Okay? Because I'm not here to waste my time, dude. You know? I'm just not. So I got better things to do than talk about these losers on a consistent basis. And this is an uninspiring off season because the candidates are not anything that rocks you. You know what I mean? John Eric Sullivan has got a really good resume. I hope he could get the job done, but he is another unknown and unproven guy that you have hired. And unfortunately, you have a terrible track record of doing this. And so until somebody does something, there's nothing you and I can do. We can't get rid of the owner. We're stuck with his family, as I've been telling you for months now, that we're stuck with his kids. So we have no idea what's going to happen. And we're all Dolphin fans, and we're all hoping for dumb luck. Dumb luck. Dumb luck, dude. That's it. Because none of the candidates are going to make you, oh my God, yeah, we got ourselves a proven winner or whatever. Stephen Ross has never been able to actually bring somebody in that's elite. And when I mean elite, because, you know, some idiot on Twitter was like trying to make the case that Gase and Philbin were elite hires. And no. Elite hires are people that are proven. You take Dave Dombrowski and you hire him for the Marlins, you brought somebody in elite because they were already proven. That's kind of the way it goes. That's what when I mean elite, it's that you brought in Harbaugh, you brought in Tomlin, because these are proven people, whether you like them or not or whatever. Because I heard people that didn't like Harbaugh or wasn't confused, you know, with Tomlin. For me, I like Tomlin the coach. I don't like Tomlin the personnel guy. But, you know, whatever, still elite selections. You know, it has never happened in his tenure. So this is why we're in this position now. So we've got to hope that John Eric Sullivan is an absolute gem, a guy that was, you know, marinating in the Green Bay organization, now finally has gotten his shot, and he knows what the hell he's doing. It would be really, really nice. Really, really freaking nice. Yeah, it would be nice. But I can't give you a pick-me-up because I don't lie to you. I'll let a whole bunch of the Dolphin podcasters and I'll let writers lie to you. And I'll let them write and talk about John Harbaugh and how it would be a great option and how, you know, whatever and this and that. I was in the car yesterday and it was Luther Campbell. He was on with Omar and Danny. And I heard him say, oh, I thought for sure they were going to get Harbaugh. You know, I mean, that's how clueless people are. And there's a whole bunch of you out there that were just like thinking, oh, we're going to get Harbaugh. No, you're not. Who the fuck told you you're going to get Harbaugh? You're not even considered from Harbaugh. Because a lot of you haven't figured out, and this is why it's uninspiring. Some of you are blind, like Luke, that you don't really understand the position that the Dolphins are in. Nobody respects Stephen Ross. Stephen Ross is a fucking clown, dude. Let's just call it like we see it. No writer in town can say it. Nobody on QAM is going to say it. But Stephen Ross is a fucking clown. It's pretty obvious that he knew what they were doing last year. They were resetting. They weren't spending any money. Obviously, the GM told them, we got to reset. We can't keep spending. We got to take a year back, kind of, you know, bring it. Okay, whatever. Well, then you got to know that it wasn't going to be a good season because I told you it was going to be 7-10. It was going to be a bad year. Look at the roster and the coach. And it went exactly how I said it was going to go. But Stephen Ross is a stupid-ass mofo. And what he doesn't realize is he should have fired the coach first, because you would have won more than 7 games if you would have had a better coach. That's why I had him at 7 games, because you have a shitty coach. And that's why Chris Greer lost his job, because he kept hiring shitty coaches to be head coaches. They might be better coordinators, they might be better position coaches, but they're not head coaches. So Stephen Ross is not going to get any benefit of any doubt, and he's not going to get any respect, and nobody of caliber is going to bother with him. Just like I told you, Amy Adams Strunk, that dumbass broad. She's a dumbass bitch that all of a sudden disagreed with Vrabel and ran him out of town, and here he is with the New England Patriots. These are stupid people. Just because they're rich doesn't mean they know anything about this. And Stephen Ross knew this was a reset. His GM resetted, and then he shit on the GM at the end of the year. And now he actually told the head coach, you're staying. And the coach is in the middle of all his interviews. Hey, I want you to do this for next year. He's telling the media, I'm coming back. In fact, I'm also a resource for the GM job. And then the goofball changes his mind as he does interviews, and he sees the candidates don't want Mike McDaniel. And then he sees Harbaugh becomes available. This old-ass geezer doesn't know what the hell he's doing. This is a joke of a franchise. And the faster a lot of you out there get on board and figure it out, you'll stop lying to yourselves. You'll stop thinking stupid things like you think your team is special or something. So I can't give you anything inspiring because I'm going to be honest. Writers in town won't be honest because they need you to keep reading. Dolphin podcasters, well, they'll try to spin as much as possible. They'll be a little critical, but they won't be completely honest on how bad it is because they're worried you may not watch again because you might piss them off like I do. I don't give a fuck. I don't. If you haven't learned by now and after 30-something years, I don't care. Okay? Doesn't matter to me. I'll tell you what a joke Wanstead is while he's still there. I'll tell you that Jimmy Johnson doesn't know what the hell he's doing while he's still there. I don't care. I'll be in the middle of a draft, and when you turn to me and say, hey, what do you think about Vontae Davis? I'll tell you he can play, but he's immature as hell. What ended up showing up about Vontae Davis? That he was immature as hell. Rest in peace, but these are the things. We will be brutally honest about the team. So there are no pick-me-ups for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a disgusting franchise, and until proven otherwise, they're a bunch of clowns. So we'll see if Stephen Ross could ever get it done because he's a joke of an owner. All he is a great, great businessman. But as a football owner, he's a disgrace, dude. Okay? Every single Dolphin fan on the planet wants Stephen Ross and the Ross family out. I hope Stephen Ross understands that because no one is in his corner. Not a damn person is in his corner. He's a failure. He's a disgrace to that logo, to those colors, to the history of the team. So there are no pick-me-ups. We have to hope, because that's all we got, a hope and a prayer, because there are no skills in that organization. We got to hope that John Eric Sullivan is the luckiest pick that Stephen Ross has ever made in his life. That's what we've got to hope for. Outside of that, there is no hope for the Miami Dolphins. None whatsoever. And if the last 16 years hasn't proven it, again, I'll say it like I said yesterday. How many owners in the league have been busted in the middle of the night going after another coach while they have one in place? Only one. How many owners in the middle of the night were at a boat trying to recruit Sean Payton and Tom Brady, and it cost them a first and a third? There's only one idiot in the NFL There's only one idiot in the history of the NFL that has done both those things, and that is Stephen Ross, our owner. This is the moron that put Jets paraphernalia to sell in the Dolphin pro shop. Okay? This is the moron. And there's only one way to look at Stephen Ross. He's a fucking moron. So we have a moron running the team, and his moronic extensions are going to be part of the team also. So until they prove some kind of competence, there is no positives to talk about the Miami Dolphins. We will cover it. We'll talk about it, but I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass and lie to you about it. Okay? I'll let writers lie about it. I'll let Dolphin podcasters lie about it. I'll let QAM lie about it, but I'm not going to lie about it. Okay? I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. There is nothing to pick you up about the Dolphins until they actually do something. But outside of that, don't ever go out on a limb for this team ever again. Don't ever think anything positive for this team ever again, because all they're going to do is let you down. Because that's what Stephen Ross only gives a shit about his bank account. And that shit is hefty. He doesn't care. He's built that business around the stadium where it is foolproof. That's why he can turn down a $15 billion offer, because he's building it up for more value than that. So we are stuck with this thief, this bum, this absolutely moronic owner. And the only chance we have is that this idiot gets lucky. And by the way, sorry for all the language for anybody that's out there, but Stephen Ross deserves in fact, I should be a lot worse. I'm being nice to Stephen Ross. I'm being nice. I would love to sit in a room with him and have a conversation and make him look this big. This big with ears this size, because you can't minimize the ears. Because I would love to ask him, hey, how can you be so stupid and do this and this and this? What were you thinking? And I'll have him stuttering and all over the place, because I'm not going to walk in there trying to think, oh, my God, he's a billionaire. I got to go respect him. No, there's no respect. I have no respect for Stephen Ross. I have no respect for somebody that walks in and you're so incompetent that all you've proven is that you can steal money from human beings. That's all Stephen Ross has proven. He can steal money from human beings because he doesn't provide a damn thing with that football team. People respond, they buy tickets, they buy suite tickets, they pay for parking, they go on the road, they do the cancer challenge, they do everything, dude, everything. They commit to that franchise, and that franchise doesn't do shit for the community at all. Your one job is to be good at football, and you can't even be respectable, dude. You're a disgrace. Anybody else can do all the other stuff you do. Extracting money from the community, anyone can do that. Run a charitable organization, anybody can do that. That's not impressive. Stealing money from the public is not impressive, dude. Hiding behind a charitable organization, that's disgraceful. I'm glad you're doing something for cancer. I'm glad, because Jim Mandich deserves it. But can you do something for the community? I mean, your only job is to run a football team, not to run a piggy bank. Because that's all you do, bro. You run a piggy bank. You ask everybody for money, and you give nothing in return. You also take the logo away from the fans, and you put your new disgusting dead whale and you produce nothing. At least if you change the Patriot logo, which, by the way, was one of the 3 or 4 best logos in the history of the NFL, they changed it to a much worse logo, but man, they started winning. The Bucks, outside of the creamsicle colors, it's still one of the best logos ever. You changed it, but at least you won. You know, the Dolphin logo, you changed it and you became worse. You're more disgraceful every year. You're more embarrassing every year. Last time I checked, the last 10 years did not include the embarrassments that I just talked about. I don't remember Joe Robbie, doing any of these kind of stupid things, or Wayne Huizenga. This man is a cancer, bro. That's what he is to the Dolphins. He's a disgrace to the entire Dolphin organization. He's a disgrace to the fan base. He's a disgrace to the NFL. All he is a thief. They're a bunch of scam artists over there. That's all they've ever done. That's it, dude. Steal money from the public and hide behind a charitable organization. Outside of that, they do nothing, bro. Nothing. In fact, the only thing that they can stand for is the cancer challenge. That's the only thing that they do. Outside of that, they're thieves. What do you do? Nothing. You're a disgrace. I mean, the Marlins are a disgrace, but they don't spend any money. They don't try. They get what they deserve. Nothing. And I know what they're doing. The cheap bastards are just collecting young talent, and they're hoping to catch lightning in a bottle one year. And that's it. That's what they're trying to do. But they're not ever going to buy anything, so they get what they deserve. But the Dolphins have no excuses to be as disgusting, as despicable, as disrespectful as they are, and all the thievery that they do on a consistent basis. It's a despicable franchise. And it's all because of Stephen Ross. So there are no pick-me-ups here. None whatsoever. They need to pick us up. Stop lying to yourselves. Stop listening to people or reading people that are going to lie to you on a consistent basis. Just to kind of, what they're doing is they're insulting your intelligence. And some of you are stupid enough to fall for it. So take a harder stance against the Dolphins. That's what you need to do. That's what they haven't faced in this town. And they know it. So they know they don't really have to win. They know you'll be back. They know you'll buy the tickets. They know you'll do whatever it takes. And it doesn't matter to you that they don't win. It doesn't matter to you if they sell Jets paraphernalia in the pro shop. It doesn't matter to you if they honor the Gators and Tim Tebow. None of that shit matters to you all at all. It does not matter. Does not matter. They take away all the 15,000 seats so they can end up raising ticket prices and create the 72 section so they can have more elitists in there and less people with affordable seating. You all don't care. You don't respond. You don't hold anything against them. You don't hold losing. You don't hold failure. You don't hold thievery. You don't hold anything against them whatsoever. Parking, whatever. You don't hold anything. They never win, and they raise prices constantly. And nobody does anything. You'll continue to buy the expensive beer. You'll continue to buy the overpriced parking. You will continue to travel to games. They know it. They've got you hook, line, and sinker. So, like, they look around like the Cubs fans. You know, they all pack Wrigley. They're all there, and they never tried to win. Never tried to win. The Tribune companies they don't have to. They don't have to. You're still going to come in. And then eventually they brought in Theo and it changed. But, it's like they don't need to try. You all are going to buy the tickets. You all are going to buy the dead whale. You continue to happily buy the dead whale left and right. That's Steve Ross's logo, and you all continue to buy Steve Ross's logo. So they know they've got you, dude. You're like zombies, and they've got you. So why do they need to win when you don't require it? You don't demand it. You don't hold their feet to the fire. You know? Other teams in town, they don't win. The place gets emptied out. It doesn't happen to the Dolphins. So, yeah, there's no pick-me-ups here. There will never be any more pick-me-ups here. I already told you this at the end of last year. I'm done. I'm done with the Dolphins. I'm not there. They will never, ever, 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 ever get the benefit of the doubt from me in any way, shape, or form. They will have to earn every single inch of it. I will never, ever get excited about anything Miami Dolphins ever again. Not under Stephen Ross. I will never do it because I've already watched his act for 16 years, and it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic, dude. Okay? So, that's it. True Fin fan, is it 5 people fired so far this offseason? Well, if you talk about the personnel guys, the head coach, no, there'll be a lot more because the assistant coaches will eventually be gone. Like the whole Weaver thing, it's like a stare down. Does he get the job first before they fire him? Because the next head coach is not going to keep him. So they are going to have to fire him. And then when they fire him, if he gets hired somewhere else, they don't get the 2 third-rounders. So they're only hanging on to their staff and to Weaver because if somebody hires Weaver, they get the 2 third-rounders. But so far, that hasn't happened. So, love to give you a pick-me-up, my brother. Love to, but I can't. I cannot. Todd says, please go ask a Browns fan or a Bengals fan that ownership does not spend money can bring. I live in Ohio, and it's ugly. Yeah. And even saying that, the Bengals, every generation, end up in the Super Bowl once. It's crazy. With Mike Brown. Yeah. So there's no more pick-me-ups at all. If you're honest with yourself, if you want to lie to yourselves, you guys can go ahead and lie to yourselves. That's fine with me. I'm not living that with these guys. I'm tired of it. I'm completely tired of it when it comes to the Dolphins. I'm disgusted with the Dolphins. That's what I am. By the way, Moody's Dental. Love talking about Moody's Dental. Yes, sir. I'd love to get a Moody's Dental MVP, but we can't find one last night with the Miami Heat because, again, they don't need to. That's a whole different ball game there, by the way. They have 2 great locations in Dade, 305-821-0231 in Broward, 954-692-6825. Invisaligns, dental implants, preventive care, and cosmetic surgery. Been going there for years. I'm telling you, my wife, my daughter, my mother-in-law, it is a great family atmosphere, and it's great for your family. By the way, check them out on Instagram at moodius.dental and get that smile back at Moody's Dental. All right. Sean Stanley, give me a 30-second pause, sir.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Canesware. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Canesware has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at canesware.com. Canesware, the spot Miami fans shop.
And don't forget, folks, use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off there at Canesware online or in person. They've got a lot of national championship stuff. You've got to go in person. They don't have everything online right now. I'm sure eventually they'll get it. But I got to tell you right now, it is – we were there yesterday. They've got a lot of work. I mean, those people – I would imagine, Sean, when they closed yesterday, they stayed for hours. And I would imagine that today they probably showed up hours before. They have so much inventory that they have to put away. It's ridiculous how much inventory they have. Okay, so they are it's mad. So if you want any national championship gear, go over to Canesware if you can and use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off. That way you can be sporting, you want to sport a championship hat and all that kind of stuff. You can do it for Monday night. Go to Canesware and visit them there at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, or right next to La Spada too. You can get yourself a little sub there. Enjoy a little La Spada sub at the same time. Anyway, what do we got going on? We got a little dip action, 94.4 with Bitcoin. Ooh. I guess the market is not doing good. Well, down 95 points. The S&P is down 11. All right. Oh, what else do we have here? Frankie says, I feel the same way, True Fin fan. That's why these big old rants mean nothing, because he still covers the Dolphins and talks about them, because at the end, he will not let go like many of them. Oh, yeah, but the difference is I will be honest about him. See, Frankie, how many people were telling you they had a chance at 9 wins or the playoffs or something last year? That's the difference. Where I will talk about it, but I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass about it. You know what I'm saying? And if you notice, the pregame show lasted, a half hour this year? I used to do 2-hour pregame shows. I don't do that anymore. There's a reason why I don't do it anymore, because they don't deserve for me to do it anymore. There's a reason why I've done less and less the last couple of years, because they don't deserve it, dude. I get tired of talking about the same shit over and over again. We used to have 5 insiders on the show all the time. I'm not working for that anymore. There's no way. I'm not doing that. There's no way. So, yeah, I'll cover it, but I'm not going to cover it the same. If you've noticed, don't cover it the same. And it is what it is. But I am the only one that told you exactly that it would be a shitty year and they would be 7-10, and there was no smoke at all. Nothing whatsoever. Meanwhile, many others. I'm not sure if there's – I don't know how many people in the media, because I didn't keep up with it, but maybe you guys can tell me. How many people locally in the Herald, the Sun-Sun, or the Palm Beach Post, and on QAM – how many of them actually said it's going to be a shitty year and they'll be 7-10? You guys remember anybody? Just wondering. Who was it? Who was with me? There had to be 1 or 2 people that said it was going to be a shitty year and they were going to be 7-10 or 6 or 5. Who? You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference between moi and others, Frankie. We will cover it, but we won't bullshit it. Okay? That's the difference. Ross isn't the problem. He tries. He just hasn't been lucky in the people he picked. There's no luck to Extreme. Mickey Harrison went and got Pat Riley. That's it. It's over. And Vinny Viola bought the team and then went and got he inherited talent like Ross inherited Parcells. And then Ross had an opportunity to move on and get other people, and he hasn't been able to. Huizinga, he got Jimmy, he got Saban and Parcells. So he really tried to Extreme. Okay? He really tried. Where has Ross really tried? He's inept. He can't do it. He can't recruit an elite coach or an elite GM to come here. So, Nick, how can Vinny Viola do it? He gets his Nick Zito and the rest is history. How is it that the Moss brothers come in and, dude, they made a bunch of mistakes early. But even with all the mistakes, they're on their fourth GM. I believe it's their fourth head coach. They won a title in 7 years. The man has owned the team for 16. An expansion team to its 7th year becomes a MLS Cup winner. So, when you tell me that he's trying, I disagree with you, bro. I disagree with you. I think he's bad at his job. That's all. He's bad. Just because he spends money, who cares? He makes it back tenfold. Whatever he spends, dude, it's not like he's risking what he's spending. Oh my God, and he's barely making profit now. George Steinbrenner used to do that actually in real life. Like when he used to go all out for his Yankees, it kind of took some money from his other businesses. And he was still making money, don't get me wrong, but he was sacrificing a lot of money in the process. This man is sacrificing nothing. What's coming in is tenfold of what he's spending. So please, let's, cry me a river somewhere else, but not here. Okay? Jeremy says, as Slater on his show said, they would get 5 to 7 wins and 2 is done. Okay, good. There you go. There you go. So Slater at least got it right with me there. But, I don't remember a lot of people telling you it was going to be a shitty year and it was going to be 7 wins or less, So that's kind of the way it goes. Actually, Big O, my cousin predicted Miami's going to go 7-10, and he's a Buffalo fan. Your second one I heard predicts, yeah, but there's a problem. Your cousin isn't in the media, so I don't really give a shit, to be quite honest. You know what I'm saying? None of that carries any weight for me. Actually, in the media, it's documented and all that kind of shit. The he said, she said stuff, none of that means anything to me. I'm just being honest, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for your cousin, whatever, doesn't mean shit to me. 6193 says, Big O, I just want a head coach to make things right with the dot. Well, John Eric Sullivan has to be right, and the head coach has to be right. They both have to be right. One can't be right because it'll screw the other one up. So John Eric Sullivan must hit on his coach. He has to hit a home run. This is why I say you've got to get a Mike McCarthy for this transition in this period right now. You're not going to get Stefanski. I've told you're not getting Harbaugh and you're not getting Stefanski. They will get the better jobs with the better quarterbacks and no cap hell. I know some of you Dolphins fans refuse to understand that, but whatever. But I do think you can get Mike McCarthy. And to me, that would be the best guy for this situation that you're in right now. A young guy is just so unproven, man. And if I'm John Eric Sullivan and my job's on the line because I have to hire the right head coach. If I don't, it just starts to put my job in an uneasy spot from the beginning. You know what I mean? And that's where you want to avoid that stuff. You know, and that's why he has to hit a home run with his head coach. He has to hit a home run. He will not survive multiple coaches and things like that. There's a good chance that you will get fired because of that. So this is like, it's not only the head coach that you want to be a good one, but John Eric Sullivan has got to be a home run also. It's the only way. It's just the only way. All right, let's get ready for hour number 2. And the one and only David Furones joins us to start hour number 2 of the Big O Radio Show.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
Good morning, young man. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I've been a little under the weather this week, but it's had me just stay in, lock in on all the coaching news, and just getting ready for. Actually, I'm traveling over the weekend for a friend's wedding, and then I'll be back for the Monday night title game in Miami. So, covering that.
Well, listen, as long as you don't go on a 58-day streak of a cold, which is what I'm on right now, I hope not. But it's only mucus. But I'm still 58 days.
Yeah, I'm past the point where I'm feeling bad. I'm not. It's just like getting rid of it now at this point. So,
right. No, that's good. That's good at least. All right. What's your thoughts of the head coaching carousel prospects? What have you gathered so far from what the Dolphins have done?
Yeah, so far they have completed 5 interviews that have been announced. I think Chris Shula will get his shot this Friday, as that's the day where the Rams just have it lined up where with the game planning, with the week of preparation, where their assistant coaches can go ahead and get in on that. So the grandfather of Don Shula then gets to interview, so that'll make it 6. So there's still a ways to go because the Dolphins, they had 11 candidates. Now that's down. That was including John Harbaugh when they reached out to him. He's out of the picture, obviously. So down to 10. So still got some initial interviews to take care of. Something that I imagine goes through the weekend, maybe bleeds into next week, and then start to narrow it down, get some finalists. So I imagine sometime next week they find out who the finalists are, and then just have a second round to really crack down and figure it out. Maybe on the accelerated end in 2 weeks can figure this out.
Sexy pick in your eyes?
What's that?
Is there a sexy pick in your eyes?
A sexy pick. All right. So the number one sexy pick
Harbaugh and Tomlin would have been sexy, right?
Yes, that would have been sexy.
Okay, so it looks like it's a list that lacks sexiness for a lot of people out there, or impact, or a guy that really gets you going and gets you excited. Or am I wrong here? Is there somebody that you say gets people excited or gets you excited?
I would say, all right, so next sexiest, I feel uncomfortable even speaking in these terms, but
are you not comfortable in your own self? Don't worry about it, bro. It's all good. Go ahead.
I know, I'm messing with you. Next sexiest would probably be Kevin Stefanski because he does have 2 Coach of the Years under him. I know people don't like to see like failed head coaches that immediately go and feel like, oh, you're just trading one team's trash to take him in. But Stefanski took the Cleveland Browns to a couple playoff appearances. All right, these are the Cleveland Browns.
11 wins twice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and those were, I mean, the 2023 team with Joe Flacco getting back in there, 2020, the COVID year. So he's a guy that maybe in another situation could work. I mean, shoot, even think about Bill Belichick went from the Cleveland Browns to then become, I don't want to say the winningest coach. Obviously, that's Don Shula, but the one with the most Super Bowl titles, we can say that. That is a fact, is Bill Belichick. And he went from a 4-year failed tenure for all intents and purposes with the Cleveland Browns to then go on to the success he had with the Patriots. So not saying Stefanski would accomplish all that, but just there's kind of like a linkage there of, okay, you can prove there is a life after failing with the Cleveland Browns, is all I'm trying to say there. So that's who I would say. I don't love the Robert Saleh, if he's the one, just because it's like, you had him in the division with the Jets, and Mike McDaniel was usually beating him, and then you're getting rid of McDaniel. I know that he had better rosters for the most part, but still, it's kind of like he was always losing to you, and now you're firing a guy to bring him in. It would kind of feel like the Jets when they brought in Adam Gase after the Dolphins fired him. So just from that perspective, I wouldn't love it. So I would have Stefanski above him, and those are the guys with previous head coaching experience, so you kind of give them a little bit more from that standpoint. Other than that, I mean, as far as a sexy pick, as far as appealing for South Florida, I would look at Chris Shula just off the namesake, and obviously he is a tremendous coach that has been rising. I know there might be other reasons why you don't think he's ready for it right now, or you might need some more seasoning, but that he would be sexy as far as just the storyline of it is all.
Yeah, it would be a disaster to bring him here. I'm just saying, total disaster. He has to live up to that name. That's just stupid. Go somewhere else, bro. Go to the other 30 teams. The worst place for Chris Shula to come to is here. Plus, see, and this is what I was talking about before you came on. John Eric Sullivan is not a sexy GM either. None of the GMs you're going to bring in were sexy because none of them are proven. It's not like you're hiring Ozzie Newsome from the Baltimore Ravens because he's leaving them or something, or you're hiring what's the name of the guy from the Rams, Les Snead. So Les Snead has done a great job there with the Rams. So you're stealing Les Snead or something. It's not a sexy pick. So John Eric Sullivan has got to hit a home run with whoever he hires. If you hire a proven guy and you could get a Stefanski, you could get a McCarthy, you could get I don't know what else is left that's proven. I don't think there's anything left. Or if you hire a young guy, you better hit on him, and he better be an absolute home run and a diamond in the rough, because for a young GM like this, or a new GM, dude, that's the most important thing there is.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Maybe this Dolphins organization isn't really going for sexy right now. I know it's Miami and
what I mean by sexy is
I know.
You got to hit on it, bro. Whoever comes in, it better be a winner. That's my point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, they're sexy from the standpoint of just how proven they are, how appealing someone would be to a fan base. But, John Eric Sullivan, it's not like many people down here in South Florida knew about him before this. He comes from VP of player personnel with the Packers, so going from Green Bay to South Florida. But he has seen how to build a roster there, one that can win in different elements. So this is a team and that was something that was actually said in the video that the Dolphins posted. One thing that he's prioritizing, so that you can build a team that can maybe go on the road and win in a December cold environment, or go win a road playoff game to go advancing through the postseason. So you build with physicality, and you know what? Actually, Stefanski would fit him because he has emphasis on O-line, run game that we've seen both in Cleveland and when he was OC with the Minnesota Vikings, when Dalvin Cook was in his offense. You saw it with the Cleveland Browns and Nick Chubb and the success that he had under his offense. So I would see that as a strong marriage. Obviously, you have the Green Bay connection between him and Jeff Hafley, so you might have to make Hafley the betting favorite just based off the connection. Shoot, Anthony Campanelli, who I love personally for his intensity.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, he would be such a tremendous leader of men. He's just got to hire the right offensive staff to lead an offense if he were to be the choice. But, I mean, for him to be at the top of an organization, leading team, motivating players, I think he would be sensational. And he's got the relationship with Sullivan because he spent a year in Green Bay after he left the Dolphins when Anthony Weaver got the DC job, and Campanelli was a candidate when Vic Fangio left. And he's also been with the Dolphins as linebackers coach. So there's dual connections there if he were the one. But I don't think, like, I'm looking at this team right now. I'm looking at how Ross and Aikman's influence coming in with Silman and the whole brass. And it just seems like they're not going for sexy. They're going for let's go with the best structure. Let's hire the right man for the job at GM, which they prioritized first. They weren't gonna say, oh, let's hold off on GM and try to bring Harbaugh in and see who he wants as GM. They were saying, you know what? No, we're gonna start to structure this thing from the top down. GM first. Let's get the guy who we want in there. Now we got our guy, and then now let's let him spearhead this head coaching search and find the guy that he believes is best, whether sexy or not.
Did you catch Darren Waller's comments with Johnny Manziel?
Yeah, I didn't watch the full interview, but definitely the parts on McDaniel on him being in on the exit interview before he got canned.
And Tua, did you catch that one?
I did not, so please fill me in.
Sean Stanley, do you have the soundbite there ready to go? Can you load it up and show Mr. Furones? Darren Waller was on with Johnny Manziel in his podcast, and he was asked about Tua and, you know, what happened with Tua. And so he starts to explain what he saw from Tua and what he thinks has gone on with Tua this season. Let me see if Sean can pull it up for you and hopefully get it done here. Let's see.
Just from me being there, like when I showed up there in training camp, I got hurt early on because I was doing speed work and I hadn't trained, but I was watching most of training camp. So I'm on the sideline. I'm watching this man throw darts every practice, bro. Like it was just like, what the fuck am I watching? Like I had never seen the anticipation and the accuracy out there. So it's like, I think from my standpoint, the skill set for him is still there. Well, I think like maybe some of like the disconnect comes from like seeing it translate. I think there might be like there could be some like trauma still stored like in his body from like what he's gone through, like with the head injuries and stuff. Cause there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, which is like the #1 book about like trauma. And they talk about how trauma was first with like war veterans and like what they went through there. And like they'll come home and they'll see like a car sitting by itself in a grocery store parking lot, but they're in their body and their brain will tell them like that car has an explosive in it when it's just like a car sitting at fucking Publix or something. And so I think like I can notice him like trying to make things happen like in the game, like he's trying to pull the trigger, but it's almost like his body and like his system won't
allow him to do that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like if there's a way for him to find some healing in that regard, I think the skill set is definitely still there, like you said.
What'd you think about that? What are your thoughts on all of that after what you've seen over the last couple of years and what's developed now with him?
I think what he's saying is definitely real. I feel like let's say players who have gone through injury, even me on a lesser scale, I've had like a minor injury, like a calf injury, and then I know like it's always in the back of my mind like, ooh, I should like baby this calf a little bit. So, you know, don't put too much pressure on it. You know, even though it's healed, or like, watch out. Like, I hope it doesn't lead to an Achilles or something like that. Like it plays a role in your mind. So I can only imagine for an athlete doing it on the biggest stage with high stakes, going against some of the biggest, strongest athletes that, yeah, his injury trauma, not only the concussions, but the hip injuries multiple times, ankle going back to college, and
shitty offensive line that can't pass block, receivers that don't run the right routes, a team that doesn't line up right. I mean, there's a coach that can't get plays in on time, which puts him at a disadvantage. There's a lot of things that Darren Waller even left out that I just threw in there that kind of compound what goes on mentally in there, because you're asking him to do things that are different than other quarterbacks because he's throwing to spots before somebody is there. And so there has to be a lot of trust in everything going on in order for that to work. And that's why, I think Darren Waller is actually onto something there.
Yeah, for sure. And probably one of the reasons why there could never be any chemistry with Nick Westbrook-Akine. It goes the whole season without a touchdown catch, barely any receptions after he had 9 with Tennessee. I mean, with the Tennessee Titans, who didn't have a quarterback last year and had the number 1 pick. And he had 9 touchdown catches for that team and could never get going in this offense. There was some disconnect there as far as the playbook, getting into the right positions, where Tua anticipates he'll be. So definitely all these things add up for a quarterback. And I think probably, contributed to a lot, especially when he's not the one that's going to be seeing a guy open and then quick release, fire it in there. He's got to anticipate that a player is going to be open. So when those things aren't there and then there's delays in getting a call, it's a complex offense, so guys aren't lined up right. You got to get guys lined up in the right position.
Have you ever watched Kurt Warner explain? Have you ever watched Kurt Warner explain Mike McDaniel's offense with Tua?
Oh yeah, he's had some viral clips there.
I mean, if you watch the whole thing and watch it, how he explains that there is no chemistry in the passing game for a quarterback in his offense. That when you go through the progressions, they don't make sense because of the timing of the different routes. That it makes it harder for the quarterback to go through its progressions because there's like a defect in the way the passing game is structured. And I always wonder, because everybody marvels at Mike McDaniel's run game concepts, but his pass game concepts might be something that might be his weakness and might create problems for the quarterback, because that's what Kurt Warner talks about. And he's got to know a little bit more than you and I about those kind of things, because he was that kind of guy too, by the way. Kurt Warner's a guy that could throw with killer anticipation. Oh my God, he had great anticipatory skills. He had a good arm, and he could also, was excellent and accurate, and he could throw after something broke. But to me, all of those things have kind of contributed to what we saw out there.
Yeah, and it blows my mind how this, because I mean, all right, even if it's not a strength of Mike McDaniel, and maybe Frank Smith is more, O-line blocking schemes. He's coached O-line and tight ends, and maybe the more of the run game. But you still have a Darrell Bevel on this staff. You brought in a Bobby Slowick for this past season, and then you still can't figure it out. And it was there at one point, 2022, 2023, especially when Tua was healthy for all of 23, and the offense was number 1. I believe the passing offense was also number 1. Yeah, he led the league in passing yards. So, I mean, it's been there at one point. So how has there been this much of a drop off? And I know this past year, Tyreek Hill got injured, of course, and then they shifted philosophy more to the run game. But boy, it really has to, it's mind boggling that, it was once there with a lot of the same folks that have been there with McDaniel. And then 24 was the first year you saw the drop off, and Tua was in and out of the lineup, and then maybe you just attribute it to that. But then the next season, I mean, Tua didn't miss a game. He maybe had some nicks and bruises, a little hip thing or something else, but he still played every game that he was available and a starter for. And then still, this offense did not get clicking as far as the passing game.
It'll be interesting to see if he can resurrect his career, if he goes somewhere else. And does he look like a different quarterback? That'll be very interesting to see if they can actually pull that off. And we'll see now, because they will definitely release him and move on. And on June 1st, he'll have an opportunity to go somewhere. Where? I don't know. We'll see. But that'll be the real interesting part. Does he get revitalized? Does he go somewhere that actually fits more what he does? I'm intrigued to find that out, overall.
Well, the thing is, I mean, on the surface, this system fits what he does. So, I think a similar scheme would work well, maybe with some more simplification so that it's not like guys, like wide receivers don't have to think so much and they can just play and they know where to go, know where to run, and Tua can anticipate in another system. But, yeah, I'd like to see him with a fresh start, and then maybe where he has the year off in the sense of not being the starter, like just go somewhere as a backup, be behind someone, preferably if that starter stays healthy, and then just build yourself back up. And then maybe like another year later, after kind of like distancing yourself and your mind from the mess that was the end of his Dolphins tenure, then I think he could be like a Ryan Tannehill story when he had some good seasons in Tennessee.
We'll see what ends up happening. What do you think, Buffalo and Denver? Who you got?
Well, I got the Buffalo Bills. I actually feel like the Bills will make a run through the AFC, even on the road. I know it's tougher with because this is a Saturday game, correct? So yep. I know it's tougher with like 1 day fewer rest and the travel to go Jacksonville back home to Buffalo on a Sunday, and then have to go out west to Denver on a Saturday. I remember like there was a year when the Dolphins in like '99 had something similar with the Jacksonville game after coming back from Seattle, and that was that presented a lot of difficulties as we remember the score to that one. But I just like Buffalo's experience and Denver maybe being kind of in this spot for the first time. I know they have a nasty defense, but I'm leading Bills here.
Okay. San Francisco, Seattle?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Seattle in that one. It's crazy because I feel like you could make a case for every road team in this divisional round, but in this case, yeah, I'll stick with the Seahawks. They earned that division by beating the 49ers on the road. I think at home with the bye week, they'll handle business, and I think Sam Darnold will be okay through this new oblique thing that is popped
Too many
up.
injuries for San Fran. If they were healthy, then I would take San Fran if they were fully healthy.
Right.
There's too many and key injuries, bro. Big
Still no
play.
Fred Warner for them. He's still not back. So.
Oh, and the left tackle's been out forever, and it's just
Trent Williams.
Yeah,
right.
dude, it's just the guys they're missing are brutal. They're just game changers. Houston at New England.
Yeah, I had Houston going up in there and winning this. That defense is just unreal. So this is a tough one for me because the Patriots are at home. I'm not sure what the weather's like over there, but I'm sure it'll be cold for the warm weather team. But the defense travels, and then they just got to get C.J. Stroud and that offense not to turn the ball over.
I almost feel like Houston wins if C.J. Stroud doesn't do what he did last week. He got lucky last week. They will not beat New England if he plays like that.
Absolutely not. No.
They will not. New England will win. But if he actually just takes care of the football and can get it, I know the Nico Collins injury is huge. Yeah, they got a shot. I'm going to go New England on this one because I don't trust C.J. Stroud. I actually trust May more than Stroud, so I'm going to go with on this
one. What is the latest on Nico Collins?
But I totally understand everybody picking Houston because that defense is just so awesome. But I'm going to go with the better quarterback in this one, and he's home. So I'm going to go with that.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in that matchup.
Yeah, I could go either way. Rams at Chicago.
Yeah. I know it'll be tough with the weather forecast in Chicago. I think it's going to be snowing and very cold over there. But I do recall the Rams, they went into Philly and gave the Eagles the toughest matchup they saw in last year's run that the Eagles had to the Super Bowl, a game that came down to the very last possession. Bears, I feel like they've had a great run. they could always come back from anything, as they proved against the Packers. I had the Packers beating them last week, and I felt damn good about it when they were up 21-3, and then saw that one deteriorate. But I'll have the Rams go on this one. I feel like at some point it's got to run out, these miracle comeback victories for the Bears. So I think the Rams go on the road and handle the elements like they proved they can in Philadelphia last year, and go and stick it to the Bears.
Yeah, listen, Caleb is a freak. There's no doubt about that, but he's not a good quarterback still. He still can't play the game normal all throughout, and he depends too much on all the comebacks and all the craziness. And I'm with you. That shit will run out at one point or another. Eventually, he's got to learn to play on schedule and not depend on the sandlot football. It's amazing. It's great stuff. He's done it all year, but I'm still I still need you to play the game the right way. And as we get higher and higher at this level, I think that becomes a problem. So can they win? Of course they can win. But yeah, I'm gonna give the edge to the Rams on this one just because I can count on Stafford and I can count on the team to kind of play where Chicago just relies too much on the craziness at the end of a game. And I just don't think you can live like that, bro. I don't.
Yeah. Need more consistency out of Caleb Williams. Like, can't keep having that fourth down, Jordan logo type of throw to keep you alive. That'll run out at some point.
How many times is that going to work, bro? I mean, you could do that a couple of times and you have the ability. He had it at USC. He also did it like that. But he's got to grow up too, and all kinds of stuff. There's still a lot there, but I get it. People fall in love with the incredible athleticism and some of the plays because he can make them, man. He can make them. He is absolutely pretty damn special overall. All right, so if you had to put any money on who gets the Dolphin job at head coach, who would you put money on? One person, no wavering, no fence straddling. Who's the guy that gets it? You know it ain't going to be Stefanski. So who else? Let's go.
Jeff Hafley.
Okay. All right. Yeah, very realistic.
There we go. That was as straightforward as can be, right?
Very.
So no wavering.
I like that answer because I think it's going to be something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be a Kubiak. It'll be a Hafley. Yeah, it'll be something like that. It's not going to be – I would love McCarthy. I think he's perfect for this situation. They don't even have him on the list. And I know it's not going to be Stefanski because there's no way Stefanski comes to this situation. So
he'll have better options, yeah.
Yeah, he has better options for sure. And it's going to be one of those young guys. And Hafley just kind of looks like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense what you're saying. Makes a lot of sense. Did you already go to what is that? Cashley or what's that? Kalshi. Did you go to the prediction site already? Do they have that going on?
I'm sure they do. I mean, I've never been to it myself. I just see like some of the stuff on social media. I'm sure they have everything.
Yeah, I've never been to the site myself at all. No idea. I have no idea. I don't even know if they have it. I don't even know if they have like Dolphin head coach and then the odds.
I'm sure they do. I feel like they have anything.
If somebody has Kalshi out there, please, fill us in on that because I have no idea. I'm coming from pure ignorance on that. All right, what do you got going on the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, all coaching updates, coach search updates all the time. So that's what I've just been spending my whole week on. So go to sunsentinel.com, see all the updates on every new candidate that has surfaced. Just like late last night, I posted actually the Darren Waller stuff, that the insight that he had on Mike McDaniel's final moments. So we'll just be updating that. And then actually I'll be out of town over the weekend. So maybe take a break from writing unless like I find a moment where I can in between, maybe Chris Perkins helps me out and fills you in over the weekend when I'm not available. And then I'll be back on Monday to go to the national title game.
Since you've been with us, this is like your second or third trip to a friend's wedding. And like a bachelor party or something. You've had a couple of friends of yours get married here in the last couple of years.
I mean, yeah, it's my age range where people are tying the knot. So, yeah, this is actually Tim Healy, former Marlins writer for the Sun Sentinel. He was my he was my roommate when he was down here covering the Marlins, and I was covering high school football down here for the Sentinel. And then then he went on to cover the Mets. Now covers the Red Sox, and he's getting married in New York this weekend. So making a quick trip up to be there.
Okay, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
Congrats to him.
All right, follow him on Twitter, and you can follow his trip to New York on Twitter at David Veronis _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, and safe travels.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You got it. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom, they are the bookend tackles you want. If you're dealing with bankruptcy issues, which could happen to any of us in this crazy situation, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, man, save this number. Even if you're not dealing with any of these issues, save it on your cell phone because you never know. A storm comes, a torrential downpour, a busted pipe, anything can happen. And you've got water damage, you've got roof damage, wind damage, whatever it is. Did you know that starting at 40 miles an hour, that can start to cause roof damage? And if you don't realize it, and sometimes you see a brown spot on your roof and you're wondering, wait a minute, do I got a leak there? Call Welton Rayom. They send over their adjusters. And then their adjusters will look, and if they got the damage, they might get you that new roof from your insurance company. Call them 954-966-4646. The consultation is completely free. You can explain your situation. They'll tell you if you have a case, and then they'll send out their adjusters and they'll get it going. And you never have to deal with the insurance company. So if you're at a condo and a neighbor's busted pipe bust open and it ruins their side, but it also comes over to your side, before you call the insurance company, don't even do that. You call Welton Rayom, they send over their adjusters, and they attack the insurance company for you. Insurance companies want to hear from us. Because why? Because I'm an idiot. I'll admit it. I hope you do too, because we don't know the laws and the loopholes, and they will take advantage of us. That's what insurance companies do. But when a lawyer calls, they know all the laws and the loopholes, and that insurance company will not be able to take advantage. That's why I saw them bring Progressive to their knees. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Veronis. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Right. Oh man, what do we got here? Frankie, what'd you say there, Frankie? The Rams only beat a middle of the pack Panther team by 3. Yeah, but they also lost to that middle of the pack Panthers team. Yep, that middle of the pack Panthers team beat Atlanta 30-0. They beat the Dolphins 27-24. They beat Dallas 30-27. Let's see. You know that middle of the pack Panthers team beat the Packers 16-13. So, and they beat the Rams 31-28 in the regular season. So, it's not like, they beat the Tampa Bay Bucks 23-20. This Carolina Panthers team, Frankie, is not the kind of team you wanted to take lightly. They were the team that could beat anybody at any time. It's the weirdest thing. They could lose to anybody at any time, but they could beat anybody at any time. Really strange. So losing to the Panthers wasn't the weirdest thing in the world this year because there were a few playoff teams that lost to the Panthers. The Dolphins, how many playoff teams did they beat? Buffalo? That's it, right? Let me see. I mean, it's kind of like weird, right? So yeah, they ended up beating 2 teams that made the playoffs, I think. So, the Panthers are a weird bunch, bro. Weird bunch. I wouldn't hold it against anybody losing against the Panthers. That was a team that if you underestimated them, that would be a stupid move on your part. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Last night, the Celtics beat the Heat 119-114. Miami is 21-20 on the season. A 36-21 fourth quarter did them in. Powell had 26. Hero had 22. Bam had 22. Saturday, they will take on OKC and drop to 500 at 8 o'clock. Tonight at 7, the Panthers take on Carolina, the Hurricanes. Fort Lauderdale United will enjoy their time off till the 31st. They will take on Lexington SC. They will be home at Beyond Bankcard Field. Get your tickets at FTLUTD.com. On Saturday at 2:15, basketball team 13-2, 4-0 in the ACC, will take on number 22 Clemson, 15-3 on the season and 5-0 in the ACC. Saturday at 4 o'clock, NSU, the number 3 team in the country, 12-1, 7-1 in the Sunshine State Conference, will visit Lynn University. By the way, NSU just beat Florida Tech. They have won 94 straight home games. Canes on Monday get ready for the national championship game at Hard Rock Stadium. And the Hoosiers are favored by 8.5 points. The over and under is 47.5. Canes plus 260. Hoosiers minus 350. The Panthers, they visited the White House yesterday to celebrate their back-to-back championship trips. And the Miami Dolphins today will interview the one and only Chris Shula. 8 job openings in the NFL. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Reach out to my guy, Alan Blanco, if your company needs custom printing and embroidery, or your group or whatever it is, charity organization, 786-618-1443. All right. I strongly suspect Hafley will bring Steve Shimko in as his offensive coordinator. Okay. He's the QB coach in Dallas. You know, it's interesting, Tim, you bring up Steve Shimko. I was going back and forth with this guy on Twitter, and this is our world we live in. Okay. And I would imagine that this guy was kind of a Canes fan also, right? Because he acted like he was butthurt a little bit. And so the conversation we were talking about how, Josh Allen, that I wanted Joe Brady, and how I think Joe Brady's done a good job overall with Josh Allen, a much better job than Ken Dorsey. And so some idiot on Twitter, and I'm going to tell you that this is what's wrong with our society in all aspects of life, especially in politics. This happens. So this idiot on Twitter goes to me, well, Ken Dorsey, well, what do you say about Dak Prescott? And I'm like, what do you mean Dak Prescott? And he goes, well, Ken Dorsey's his coach. And I go, no, he's not, dude. Ken Dorsey's the passing coordinator there. Steve Shimko is the quarterback's coach there. He's working with, obviously, with Dak Prescott directly. And Clayton Adams is the OC. So he's the one working. Wasn't it Tua and Darrell Bevell? That's the QB coach, Darrell Bevell. You know what I mean? And so the guy was like steadfast on believing that Ken Dorsey is the reason that Dak Prescott is playing well, which it's not true. But he couldn't handle the fact, and I was trying to explain to him, yo, dumbass, Ken Dorsey got fired because Dable's the one that developed Allen, and then Dorsey was setting him back, and they had to fire him, and then obviously the new coach has done a much better job in Joe Brady with him. it's not even close. This is not even up for discussion. And Ken Dorsey's a nice coach and all that, but he was kind of and then all of a sudden, because he's the passing coordinator, he's giving Ken Dorsey the credit and not the offensive coordinator and the QB coach. And this is what happens in our world, especially in politics. People turn a fake fact into what it is. And this guy was dead set on giving Dorsey all the credit for anything that Dak did, which is stupid. But that's how it is nowadays. People spin whatever they want, and they create their own fake facts. And then the lies are repeated enough, and this is our society right here. That guy is a perfect example of our society. I don't even want to say his Twitter handle because he's just a moron. But, these are the stupid people that you run into. Twitter, let me tell you something, has the laziest and dumbest people on there. That's what I have learned. Twitter is just full of just the worst of our society. The laziest, the dumbest, the ones that are filled with most hate. That's what Twitter is, dude. That's what Twitter, that is. There's really very few good things going on Twitter. It's mostly just terrible people, stupid people, ignorant people, and people that spew lies like that. So it's interesting that you bring up Steve Shimko, because he came up in that conversation. So makes sense that you say that. So good call by you, by the way. Hafley and Shimko. It's a good call by you. I like that. What else do we have? Big O, where do you see John Morant going if traded? I have no idea, my brother. I have no idea, to be quite honest. And the whole Heat thing, if they're going to give up Rozier and some nothing, that's fine. But Mark Stein reports that they want a first rounder and a young player. I want nothing to do with John Morant. I'm not giving up a first rounder and a young player for John Morant. You're an idiot. I can't give up for this guy is an idiot. And no, I would never trade for John Morant. If I'm giving up absolutely nothing and you're going to take on all that money, okay, and you want to take, but if I have to give up anything of whatever value I have, first rounder or a young guy, no, I'm not doing that. Not doing that, because there's a good chance that you're going to end up cutting this guy. There's a good chance it won't end well with this guy. He doesn't get it, bro. He doesn't ever get it at all. So, yeah, I want nothing to do with John Morant unless I have nothing to lose. But if I'm going to give up something, yeah, I'm not starting that relationship by sacrificing anything for John Morant. You cannot. Richard says, Big O, I've been listening every day for 5 years, and I appreciate your honesty. I can't even stand listening to media fluff anymore. Thank you. Well, because we don't do a lot of the fluff. Yeah. They have to. They have no choice. They cannot be brutally honest. Their editors aren't going to allow them to do that. So Tim Big Ribbon says, narratives, Big O. People will do whatever it takes to cling to them. They don't like the truth. Amen to that. That guy would not accept the truth. Would not accept the truth. And I'm like, well, Dorsey's not the reason why Dak. He's a passing coordinator. The guy working with the QBs are the QB coach and the offensive coordinator, dude. What is wrong with you? And Ken Dorsey did a shit job with Josh Allen. It went viral that he was destroying the laptops and everything. He was bad. Sorry, it's Ken Dorsey. We love him. And I know he's one of the great quarterbacks and all that, but he's not a great offensive coordinator. Sorry. Maybe he will be, but he wasn't at the moment and still isn't. And he's certainly not the reason why Dak has had a good season. Dak has had a good season because Dak's a decent quarterback. And if there's anybody working directly with him, it's the OC and the QB coach, not the passing coordinators. But it's like these people man, the ignorance that's out there, it's scary how ignorant some people are. And they refuse to listen to logic. You know? Big Johnson says Kalshi does have that bet on the next coach. They have Hafley at 45%, then Shula. Damn, Big Johnson. Thank you, sir. Very nice of you. Appreciate that. Greg Cody had the Dolphins going 8-9 this past season. Good job by Greg Cody. Not bad. At least he was being honest that they were going to be bad. I trade Bam for second-round picks next offseason. Now, you can get a first-rounder for him or two. The Big O Show, fluff and lint-free since the beginning. Yes, it is. Yeah. And so that was a very well-seen post-game Dorsey meltdown after the Buffalo loss. Yeah. Yeah. That it was, my friend. That it was. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Antonio Roque. TJ Superman, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you, TJ. Oh, man. Thank you for the love on Cash App. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff. Let's see. Shula's defense in the last 4 weeks has been really bad. Not saying he can't coach. I think he needs 2 more years with the Rams. Dolphin Dave, he's not ready to be a head coach, bro. That's just the Shula bullshit that goes on. That's all. Maybe writers won't say it. Maybe the people on radio or Dolphin podcasts won't say it. He's too young. He's too green. He's been on 2 teams. And he was on the San Diego Chargers for 2 seasons as a quality control coach, and the rest has been on the Rams. He will not be able to build a staff. He's too young. And this is not the place for him. I don't know how many times I got to repeat it. It is not worth it. It's just not worth it. Chris Shula will interview today, by the way, with the Miami Dolphins. They interviewed Robert Saleh and Jesse Minter yesterday. So Shula today, 8 jobs open. There were 9, but obviously the Harbaugh one is done. They'll finalize the deal. I'm sure that'll be coming any hour now, by the end of the day, by tomorrow, whatever. So it is what it is. And we'll see if Miami can focus in on getting a head coach in the next week and a half before the Senior Bowl. And we'll know. We should have the coach in place by the Senior Bowl. And then if you don't, then you'll really know who the coach is going to be, because it'll be whatever's left in the Super Bowl. Guaranteed. Or if they haven't been hired. You know, that kind of stuff. Now, some of these people haven't been able to hire in person, so they may not hire any of these people until they're able to hire them in person. I'm talking about the playoff guys, because obviously they're all doing it through virtual. Chris Shula's got to do it through virtual because he's in the playoffs. Okay. All right. So that's the Dolphin news side. Let's get to Darren Waller. So Darren Waller was on the Johnny Manziel podcast, and first of all, let's talk about Mike McDaniel. He was there the moment that Mike McDaniel was going to get fired. He didn't realize it till after the meeting. So this is his end of the year wrap-up meeting with Mike McDaniel. And here's Darren Waller explaining to Johnny Manziel how everything broke down when he was talking with McDaniel. And then all of a sudden, Stephen Ross shows up.
Yeah, wow, year front to back. I mean, I was at the scene of the crime, bro. I think I was the last person that saw him before he got fired, bro. Like, my exit meeting was that Thursday morning from 9:30 to 10. So I get there for my exit meeting, and we're talking for like 10 minutes, and he's like, yeah, like, definitely want you back next year. And we're just like reflecting on the year and things that he was thinking about doing different in the upcoming year. And then Stephen Ross kicked the door in at like 9:42. And he comes in, like, joins the conversation. We're just all talking, reflecting on the year. And Stephen Ross like, well, hey, you back next year, this, that, and the third. And then the conversation kind of hits a lull, and I'm sitting across the desk from Mike, and Stephen Ross is standing there just kind of looking at me like,
it's time for you to get the hell out.
I looked at Mike. He was like, we'll finish this conversation later, because I didn't know they had the GM search was in full flow. I didn't know what they had big business talk about. Like, we already really done here. We just powwowing. And so I go out the meeting, I go downstairs and get a massage. I come up from the massage, check my phone, he's fired. And I'm like, damn,
Wow.
like, this shit cold for real.
I guess.
First of all, it shows you that Stephen Ross doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Never has, never will. It shows you that his initial plan was to keep Mike McDaniel, because that's his stupid thinking, because he's a dumb individual when it comes to football. I will always state that Stephen Ross is a stupid human being when it comes to football, okay? When it comes to stealing your money, he's a freaking genius. But when it comes to football, he's as dumb as it gets. So he was going to bring McDaniel back, and that's why he had the 3 GM targets as Niner guys. And I told you it would be Josh out of the 3 guys. And that's what they were working on. That's where they were headed. And then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. In the interviews, they realized that most of the candidates didn't have nice things to say about Mike McDaniel. They weren't necessarily impressed with Mike McDaniel. All of those things. And then Harbaugh becomes available, and he realizes, oh my God, I have gone about this process wrong, which is what we all told you. You should have fired everybody right from the get-go. You should be clearing house, but now you did it the wrong way. And you sent out the message to everybody that Mike McDaniel was staying. And Mike McDaniel told everybody he was staying. And Mike McDaniel told everybody that he was assisting in the GM search. Whether they assumed he would be in the meetings or just providing information, either way, it's cancerous, stupid, and ignorant. Something that Stephen Ross is very good at when it comes to football. So the fact that he walks in there in the middle of exit meetings to fire the man, it shows that everything that they're doing it by the seat of their pants. Or, I'm sorry, in Stephen Ross's case, by the seat of his diapers. Oh, I'm sorry, depends. Did I say diapers? Depends. By the seat of his depends. And that shows you how unprofessional Stephen Ross is. And as one of our listeners pointed out, who I think that listener unearthed a nugget that nobody thought about. The same mistake he made with Mike McDaniel now, where he should have made a decision before and should have fired him right on Black Monday or Sunday night or whatever. Okay, or maybe in the middle of the season you should have fired him. Maybe it was the same thing he did with Chris Greer, who told him last year in the offseason, we cannot go all out and go buy free agents and mortgage the future and trade away picks. We have to take a step back to kind of reset. And so by knowing that you're going to reset, people with intelligence see the roster and everything, and they say, well, you're not going to be a good team and you're not a good coach. So, but Stephen Ross doesn't have my intelligence when it comes to football. I don't have his intelligence when it comes to everything else. Anything else in the world, I'm sure he's smarter than I am. Life, finances, everything, love, whatever. He's probably better than I am in everything, but I'm sure I'm better than him in football. Now, I can put my life on it that I'm better than him in football. So this is a stupid man when it comes to football, and he has no guidance, and you can tell by that moment that he has no idea what he's doing, and it's just by the seat of his pants, and what he thought was wrong, and then he learned that it was wrong, and then he had to fix it. And then when he tried to fix it, he figured out that he couldn't fix the Harbaugh thing, because once they called, they said thanks, but no thanks. And as we told you, John Harbaugh, there was no way John Harbaugh was going to string Stephen Ross along because of Jim Harbaugh, because of his connections. John has no connections to Stephen. He doesn't give a shit about Stephen Ross. He could give 3 flying Fs about Stephen Ross, but he loves his brother. And so he's respected. So they let him down quickly. And then right away they knew they had to turn to option 3 which of these general managers, let's take what we think is the best one. And they took what they think is the best one in John Eric Sullivan. And by the way, if you look at his resume, he's got a hell of a resume. Let's hope he is the guy. But it just proves to you everything going on that Stephen Ross doesn't know what he's doing, can't figure it out, never had a plan. In fact, we should vote him in as president because that's constantly what we put in every 4 years. Some old fart that doesn't have a plan, that just does whatever the hell they want. We had a dead man and now we have an orange man. It's all the same shit. We might as well put Stephen Ross in 2028 if he's still around. He's young enough, Lord knows. All right, so then Darren Waller moves on, and he's talking with Johnny Manziel, and Manziel asks him about Tua, and what does he think went on with Tua this year? And here's Darren Waller explaining the Tua enigma.
Just from me being there, like when I showed up there in training camp, I got hurt early on. Because I was doing speed work and I hadn't trained, but I was watching most of the training camps. So I'm on the sideline. I'm watching this man throw darts every practice, bro. Like it was just like, what the fuck am I watching? Like I'd never seen the anticipation and the accuracy out there. So it's like I think from my standpoint, the skill set for him is still there. Well, I think like maybe some of like the disconnect comes from like seeing it translate. I think there might be like there could be some like trauma still stored like in his body from like what he's gone through, like with the head injuries and there's this book called The Body Keeps the Score, which is like the #1 book about like trauma. And they talk about how trauma was first with like war veterans and like what they went through there. And like they'll come home and they'll see like a car sitting by itself in a grocery store parking lot, but they're in their body and their brain will tell them like that car has an explosive in it when it's just like a car sitting at fucking Publix or something. And so I think like I can notice him like trying to make things happen like in the game, like he's trying to pull the trigger, but it's almost like his body and like his system won't
allow him to do it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like if there's a way for him to find some healing in that regard, I think the skill set is definitely still there, like you said.
I think there's a lot of truth to what Darren Waller was talking about with Tua, but I think the trauma is from everything. The trauma is from the organization, which since you got there, you were teamed up with a coach that hated you. And then you got a coach who is completely irresponsible, doesn't really know how to run an offense and handle quarterback or anything like that. And then you talk about you've been behind a bad offensive line on a consistent basis. It was bad this year. Just because you can run some of these games doesn't mean you were ever any good at pass blocking. You still had 2 seconds. Okay? You still had 2 seconds. So it's not like you were giving the quarterback back there some time to get the ball. You still had a coach that can't get plays in on time. His offense makes no sense whatsoever. He doesn't dedicate himself to the run. He doesn't really work in big receivers. The tight end has been a problem in this offense, which the tight end should be featured in every offense, especially with short quarterbacks. So there's a lot of trauma besides the concussions, which is the obvious, besides the hits, all of that. And to me, this is a collective thing with Tua. Now, the only caveat that I will have to what Waller said is I need to see him move better and throw better because he's not moving or throwing like he did 2 years ago. And I don't know if that injury from, a year and a half ago or whatever, that hip injury, it looks to me like that's where the decline started. But we're going to find out. He wasn't able to work out with Nick Hicks once he signed his new deal. They wanted to keep everything in-house. That's also changed his body and the way he plays. It'll be very interesting to find out what happens this offseason. Once he gets released, does he get to start to kind of work on his body again? Does he go somewhere else? Does he go somewhere where he does have an opportunity to succeed? Does he go somewhere with a real offense, a real offensive line, a good mind for the quarterback, all those kind of things, and see if he gets a chance to succeed? The beauty of it will be the same as always. There's a bunch of you that didn't like him from the get-go, so you'll be hoping that he fails because obviously you need him to fail. And then there'll be the others that wanted him to succeed, and they'll be looking forward and hoping that he succeeds because he's a good dude overall, but he was put in a terrible situation. And to be honest, he's also kind of his worst enemy because he's just a horrible public speaker too, on top of all of that. And he just doesn't know how to handle all these kind of situations. And because he was constantly in a terrible situation, this is not the kind of place for him overall. He kind of needs to have a better and more positive like atmosphere because of, it's to be in a shithole like Miami or the Jets or Cleveland. It takes a special individual to be able to handle and talk about constant controversies. There aren't a lot of people that can do that. And he's the worst at it overall. You know what I mean? It sucks to be a quarterback for one of these teams because they're always involved in all kinds of controversies, like the Browns. It's the same thing. You're dealing with all kinds of things going on because it's a terrible franchise. And then Tua is not a guy that can handle that kind of stuff. Or it's not that he can't, it's that he doesn't know how to. You know what I mean? And these are all experiences. So we'll see how he chalks up all of this. And we'll find out in the offseason. Does he walk right out into the sunset and says, I'm done, bro. I got plenty of money. I don't need this. I'm out of here. Or does he go with the unfinished business and gets motivated and all of that? And I think that once he gets released, I believe, because he's a crazy bastard, he's going to get motivated and try to get it done. So let's switch gears. Let's talk a little football with the one and only Steve Calabro. We've got the wise guy picks of the week along with Casino Steve. Let's bring him aboard. Go ahead, Sean Stanley. Do your thing, sir. Here we are. There he is.
Bingo. Good afternoon. I'm feeling good. Okay. And although I shouldn't feel that good, Big O, because I laid an egg last week.
Well, listen, you've had 3 straight winning weeks, and now you finally had a losing week. You went 1-0-1, 2-1, 2-1, and now 1-2. So it's not so bad. Okay,
I need a 4-0 this week. I need a 4-0.
You're picking all 4 games. Wow. Okay.
The Jersey guy went with all 4, so I got to go with all 4. And look at Hialeah Park. We do it right here. We got we're gonna go 100%. And you see it in the poker room. We're the best promos in South Florida. Sports betting, we have the sports betting it's limited in Florida. So if you're visiting Florida, make sure you sign up through Hialeah Park and through the Big O website. But and come on the slot machines, every Saturday you got a shot at $250,000. You got 5 shots. I mean, that's enough for you, right? 5 shots, you can win one of them.
Damn right. Mercedes, Alfa Romero, boats, his and her Rolex, Bitcoin, gold. So what's the next giveaway? Can you tell us already?
Oh, yeah, we finalized the February Valentine's. It's you guys guessed it. It's the Cartier his and her watches. Okay. Rolex, we didn't want to redo it. Half our brainstorming team wanted to do Rolex because they're cool and we love them. They were a big success last February. But this year, they said, let's do something a little different. And we went with the Cartier. It's a little more luxurious, his and her watch. Maybe next year we'll go back to Rolex. Maybe next year. But that being said, I got some picks. Listen, let me
go over last week. You went 1-2. You won the New England game against the Chargers. You lost Philly versus San Francisco, and then you lost Jacksonville versus Buffalo. The wise guy ended up losing the Rams game. He won the Chicago game against Green Bay. He won the New England game against the Chargers. He won the Houston game against the Steelers, and then lost the Philly game against San Fran and lost the Jags against Buffalo. He ended up going 3-3. He went 500 last week. You went 1-2. Okay.
I got to go 4-0. I mean, we both got to go 4-0, and all your viewers got to go 4-0. And here's how they're going to do it. Although they're going to have to pick between the Jersey guy, the Jersey wise guy, and Casino Steve, because here's why. We are, before I give the picks, we have 3 of the same picks. We only disagree on one pick. And believe me, we do this separately. I don't talk with him about my picks. He doesn't talk to me until we make the decision. Then he sends them in. All right, here's what he got. This is the Jersey wise guy. He's got Seattle -7 over the Niners. By the way, last week nobody had the Niners. Okay, everybody had the Eagles, and the Eagles didn't have the Eagles. Anyhow. So Seattle's -7 over 49. Okay. He has the Rams +2.5 over the Bears.
It's 3.5.
3.5. I read that wrong. So Rams 3.5. So last week he picks the Bears. It was obviously a different game, but this week he's thinking they're getting knocked out.
So Rams -3.5. I got you.
Yeah. The Pats. He's got the Pats -3 over Texas. I got to tell you, Texas looks like they just can't get out of the playoffs fast enough, in my opinion.
It's 3.5 right now. This morning
it went up. Yeah, it's so funny. This morning I saw that on my picks. Yeah, I should have said it. He must have done this. He must have done it last night.
Yeah, it's 3.5 right now.
And and then the Jersey wise guy has the Bills over the Broncos.
Bills
quite amazing.
+1.
Yep, +1. So that's what he has. Now I have the same thing. Really, I have Seattle -7. I have the Rams. I have the Pats, except that I think Denver's going to win. Now I know all my friends from Buffalo are going to go nuts, but I think Denver could get to the Super Bowl this year. And I've said that earlier in the season too, earlier in this run for the playoffs. But I think the only one that the Jersey guy and I disagree on is I think it's Denver. I think it's Denver's. They have a good defense, which I think you need defenses. We all know that to get to the big game. I think they got a great coach. So that's and the Bills. They just I don't know. There's something missing in the Bills world because some days they wake up and they play like monster killers and Josh has a phenomenal game. And then some days the team wakes up and they don't play well. And Josh tries to have a phenomenal, tries to save the team, and it doesn't work all the time. When it's one man trying to save the rest of the guys that didn't show up. So I think the Bills, I don't know. I think it's their. They're not going to go deep. I didn't think they were going to go that deep, and this is where they get booted out. What are you thinking?
When I look at your picks, both of you, the Denver Buffalo game, I like Denver because they're home, and Buffalo's Buffalo's beaten up, and it's a short week for them, and he took a beating, bro. And now, Bo Nix has got to play smart, and he's got to take care of the football throughout the game and not necessarily rely on heroics at the end of the game. Because if we're going to do that, then I might count on Allen over Bo in that sense. But Denver's defense, I think, is so good at this point that I think that's going to be the difference in the game. So I'm with you over the Jersey guy. I like Denver over the Bills. Seattle and San Francisco. Seattle's the best team in the league right now, man. I thought it was the Rams throughout the year, but towards the end of the year, Seattle, proved to me that they are the better team. The only thing is, I'm going to take San Francisco +7. They're beat up and everything, but I don't trust Sam Darnold, and I can see him making a mistake or two and keeping San Francisco in the game. So I would actually take San Francisco plus the points. I'd go crazy there and disagree with both of you on that one. The New England one, -3.5. I like that one overall because I like New England's home, and I got the better quarterback on my side if I'm New England and Houston. CJ Stroud, if he does anything like he did last week, they will lose the game. But I wouldn't be surprised if Houston gives them a hell because that defense is the best defense that's left in the playoffs right now. That defense is nasty, nasty, nasty. So I can understand New England being the edge there on this one. The only thing is that half point kind of scares me a little bit there. And then the Rams and Chicago, yeah, I'm good with that one. With the Rams laying 3.5, I'm going to trust Matthew Stafford. The heroics for Chicago, that shit's going to end. You can't keep living on that. You can't.
You know, Big O, you're very consistent. I always listen to you every week after week. And certain quarterbacks you like, and certain quarterbacks you just are so. I like. You don't like Bo. I don't say you don't like him.
He hasn't convinced me because he's inconsistent. You know, Caleb Williams reminds me a lot of Bo Nix, that they screw up a lot during the game, and then they have to rely at the end of the game of saving their asses. And that just does not fly in the NFL. You're not going to be able to live like that every year, every week. That's going to catch up to you, and it's going to bite you in the ass. You got to learn how to play the game the right way, you know, and if you don't, you know, for me, again, I need to see you make a living from the pocket.
So,
I have to
see your point, though. Bo Nix could be the modern day Trent Dilfer.
No, he's better than Trent. He's better than Trent. He's better.
He's a little better than Trent. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yes. So
better than Trent already, as it is. I just need him to play more on schedule, just like Caleb. They don't play on schedule, you know. Like Lamar will never play on schedule. That's not who he is, because he has to run around. But to me, these guys have the potential of playing in the pocket, and if they can do that, you know, I think they'll win more games as quarterbacks. I really do.
Anyhow, Big O, I have to run because I'm doing some stuff, but I am rooting for you and the Hurricanes this Monday, and it's going to be a great week. I can't wait to.
I know everybody in Hialeah is rooting for it because they're big supporters over there at Hialeah Park, right? Mr. Brunetti and the Brunetti family has always been big fans.
A lot of Brunettis have attended University of Miami too. So and you see in the poke room and the slop floor, they're wearing the University of Miami apparel all over the place. But good luck for University of Miami. It's going to be a great game. Can't wait to talk about it next Tuesday.
I know Mr. Brunetti loves his U, bro. So yeah, I know that. I know he's looking forward to Monday in a big time way. All right, Steve. Much love, my brother. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up on Tuesday. Enjoy the game.
Take care.
You got it. And visit, of course, Hialeah Park, man. Smokeless casino. So you won't have anybody blowing smoke. Now, for you guys that are smokers, by the way, they've got areas where you can smoke, beautiful balconies outside. They've got the smoking hot slots outside too, but it's under roof and everything. They got fans and everything. So it's really comfortable. So it's really good. But you could go there with your vape, your cigar, your cigarette, whatever, and enjoy yourself during the smoking hot slots. And by the way, while you're sitting there, they can serve you drinks and food and all kinds of stuff. And you can wager on any of the tracks around the country. Plus, of course, you got sports betting, got the app, man. You know, they've teamed up with Hard Rock, so you can go right through that QR code right there and download the Hard Rock app and start making those wagers. We just gave you some of our picks for this week. So there you go. We appreciate Steve Calabro. We love the Brunetti family as always. Great supporters of our program. And I know they're looking forward to that UM game, man, because they're always doing stuff. They give UM tickets away over there at the casino and stuff like. For those of you that go, you'll know because they always have all kinds of different giveaways. I mean, they're constantly giving away stuff. So it's really, really good. Really fun little casino. Go check it out there at Hialeah Park. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation, and we appreciate that as always. What else do we have? Let's see. Jeff in Long Island. Steve, what's up with the hat? Dub, other than that, we all have hoping Sully knows what he's doing. I personally want Halby from the Eagles, but who cares? The guy has a lot to prove, and if he saves the Dolphins, he'll be Hall of Fame GM. I hope so. Daddy Dean says he went 5-1 last week. He's kicking that ass. He says he has Texans, Bills, Seattle, and Rams. The Texans one is interesting because the 3.5. That half point scares the shit out of me with the New England game. I like New England, but 3.5, oof, that's kind of a little rough there. That's one that one's tough. That one I may not like. I could bet it if it was 2.5 or 3 at 3.5. I'd like the Patriots to win. I don't know if I would lay the 3.5. So I kind of understand why he would go with Houston. You know. Let's see. What's your last comment? Too extreme. Let's see. Big O, when Tua gets released, he'll get picked up by the Vikings, and Kevin O'Connell will make him complete with J.J. McCarthy since he's always injured. That would be interesting. If he can end up in Minnesota, although I don't think that's the place for him because you still have to play outdoor games. And, you know, the weather, Atlanta to me is the place for him. They get Stefanski. He has a good quarterbacks coach in Stefanski. He plays in that dome all year. Plus he plays the Saints on the road in a dome. And Carolina and Tampa aren't bad weather places. To me, that's a great place for him. And Penix is always injured, just like J.J. McCarthy. So he will have a chance. And the weapons they already have in Atlanta. It would be good for Tua. I like that one. I like it. You know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. What the hell do I know? You know? What can I tell you? All right, let me do a little music. We love doing music. All right, let's go. Let's start off with musicians born on the 16th. Here we go. Aaliyah. Rest in peace. Aaliyah was born on this date in 1979. We lost her at the age of 22 in 2001. Very pretty girl, man. Very pretty girl. Let's see what else. Every time I run into Romeo Must Die, I always stop and watch it a little bit. It's a trip of a movie. It's not like this great movie, but it's enjoyable. Let's put it that way. Maxine Jones from En Vogue, born in 65. Paul Webb, bassist with Talk Talk, born in 62. The Goddess, Sade. Helen Fosada Adu, Sade, the Nigerian-born British singer, born in 1959. She's awesome, dude. I love her music. So good. Bob Kulick, Kiss. Also had a tenure with Wasp. Played also with Meatloaf, Michael Bolton, Lou Reed. Born in 1950. We lost him in 2020. Ronnie Millsap, the country singer. Born in 1946. Stranger in My House. Smoky Mountain Rain. What was that? What's that Ronnie Millsap song? It was really, really famous. Oh, man. It was very poppy also. God. I'm brain farting now. Damn it. Anyway, let's see what else. Catherine Anderson. She was in the female group, the Marvelettes. The Marvelettes. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman, please. Let's see. Who else celebrating birthdays today? Bill Francis, keyboardist with Dr. Hook, born in 42. Let's go with famous birthdays. Other people born on this date, other famous people. Remember, if I don't give you an age, that means they are no longer with us. The inventor, Frank Zamboni, born in 1901. I had no idea that the Zamboni was named after a guy that actually invented it, and his name was Zamboni. I had no idea. Learn something every day. Let's see, who else? Zoologist D.N. Fossey, born in 1932. Writer Susan Sontag, born in 1933. Motorsports Hall of Fame member A.J. Foyt, born in 35. The man is 91 today. Bless him. Radio personality Laura Schlesinger, born in 47. She's 79. Filmmaker John Carpenter, Halloween, born in 48. He's 78. Choreographer, actor, filmmaker Debbie Allen, born in 50. She's 76. Model Kate Moss, born in 74. She's 52. Rashawn Ross from the Dave Matthews Band, born in 79. He's 47. Albert Pujols, born in 80. He's 46. That is it. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers for us born on this date?
Yes, sir. Bull Dempsey turns 38. Dion Lennox is 28. And Rick Bognar, most famously played the fake Razor Ramon, was born on this date in 1970. Those are your birthdays for January 16th, 2026.
Uh-oh. Today is the last day to enter the portal. Did Manny not say that, Sean? Okay. Well, Chris Hummer, the Hummer, is reporting that Duke has concerns that star quarterback Darian Mensah could enter the transfer portal. Multiple sources tell some guy there named Zenith and I from CBS Sports, Mensah finished second in FBS this year with 3,973 passing yards and 34 touchdowns. The University of Miami needs a quarterback. Has Mario Cristobal stolen Manny Diaz's quarterback? That is the question. Portal madness is going on. Remember, I talked to you. We talked to Manny yesterday and said, hey, is there another opportunity or whatever? Manny said, nope. Tomorrow is the last day that they can enter the portal. And so you desperately get on the phone if you're in Miami and you start working the agents. And, hey, your client happy there? We got more money here. Obviously, they had $6.5 million to offer one guy. I don't know if they're going to offer him that kind of money, but I'm sure they're offering a little bit more than what he's making at Duke. And what did I tell you guys? Do they need like the guy from Arizona or Shoresby? No, they really don't. They just need a good quarterback that can get the ball out there and is accurate. That's exactly what this guy is. And in this offense, he would be a superstar. Plus, Darian Mensah knows, holy shit, I can throw to Malachi. And who knows, the kid from Ohio State might be transferring over. No, he isn't because he didn't enter already today. But, just having some fun. What do we do? So we're going to find out now if Darian Mensah becomes a Miami Hurricane. Because if you're the Canes, you have to work the phones heavily to try to get somebody to enter that portal today. Very interesting development. Very interesting development. I like it. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. By the way, Dow is down 35 points. The S&P is up 5. The NASDAQ is up a point. Bitcoin is at 94.6 right now. So kind of holding right in that 94, 95 area. Oh, man. Too funny. All right. Dad says, Big O, I'm disappointed. Ordered a Trucker ball cap. Took 2 weeks to get it. Finally opened it, and it was a youth hat. Okay. Don't know. Why do the youth get the good selections? I don't know, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. But I will say this. Sometimes I'll see sneakers, and I go, oh, that's pretty cool. And then it's like a kid sneaker, and I'm like, damn, dude. Can't get that sneaker. It's too small. You know? So, yeah. I feel you. That happens to me with other things. But, yeah. What else do we have here? Unless Tua can get his hips straightened out, he's toast. Seems like work ethic suffered this season as well. Yeah, there's a lot of things that went on with Tua, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We're going to find out, man. We're going to find out a lot right now in this offseason. We'll find out if he retires. We'll find out if he wants to gets reignited and goes somewhere else and revitalizes his career. We'll find all of that out. Or he gets inspired to revitalize his career and then fails. And that's it. Moves on. So something's going to happen, and we'll find out. We just hope on our side that this general manager can get the right head coach. That's really what it's all about. Get the right head coach. So, Mario Cristobal will not coach in the NFL, Dolphin Dave. Never. He's done. It's over for him. He's here. That's it. He will grow old here if he wants to and if he can. Because obviously, if he fails and doesn't get back to this point and, struggles to get into the playoffs and struggles to win the ACC, then, yeah, eventually they'll part ways with him and he'll go somewhere else as a college coach or whatever. But no matter how much success Mario may have, Dolphin Dave, for the first time, the University of Miami got a guy that will have no interest ever in leaving. Ever. Okay? Unless he, wins 5 straight national championships or 7 or something, and he just gets bored with it, and then he says, well, I'll try the NFL. What the hell? That's the only way. And I don't even know what the chances of that happening. I would love to see him win 5 to 7 championships. That would be really fun, actually. But no, I just think Mario is a lifer, dude. He got his ultimate job. When you leave Oregon, Dave, I mean, why would you leave Oregon? Oregon's not a job you leave. If you can win there and go to the playoffs and be one of the best teams in the country, that guy Phil Knight will support you forever. You'll have all the money. You'll live a great life. Your family will live a great life because you'll have so much money in the bank. It's ridiculous. And when you leave Oregon to come to Miami, it's because Miami is where you really love and what you want to be. And dude, he's Miami. So there's no chance he goes to the pros. None whatsoever. Like I told you, it would have to be that he gets bored of winning national titles, and that's not going to happen. I'd like it to happen, but it's not going to happen. Mario loves being here, loves being the University of Miami head coach. He appreciates being the University of Miami head coach. He wants to work as hard as possible for the University of Miami. You could not have gotten a better human being to be your head coach. All you need him is to be a great head coach so everything works out. And it's on its way. It's on its way. But the Canes fan found their guy that is a lifer, which is really cool because most college coaches will move on at one point or another. Most of them. You know, you might get a Kirk Ferentz or something like that, but most of them are going to move on. And that's what's always been for Miami. They found a guy that has no interest in moving on. None whatsoever. He has his dream job. He has the most perfect job in the world in his mind. And that's cool. That's actually the utopia. That is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for any of us. Any of us that can get the ultimate job of whatever we desire. That's heaven, man. Heaven that you get to drive to work with a smile on your face and you're inspired to do it every day because you passionately love it so much. And that's Mario Cristobal. How many of us can say we passionately love our jobs, look forward to doing our jobs, hate being away from our jobs, that's Mario Cristobal, dude. That's Mario Cristobal. And very few of us get to achieve that. He has. He is in absolute bliss. Jeremy Dorsett, thank you for the love on the super chat. If Tua retires, Dolphins don't take a cap hit. No, they take a cap hit no matter what. Retire. Well, his retirement will come after he gets cut. He's not retiring, Jeremy. They will cut him, and then he will retire if he wants to or continue to play. But he's not going to retire off of the contract. No. He's playing. That's what he's telling him. He's playing. So you're going to have to cut him to get rid of him. And then he will decide what to do, and that has no bearing on the Dolphins. It's already, they're going to take the hit that they're going to take. So that's how it goes. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Let's see. Mario Cristobal has a chance to create something special here with UM. He's well on his way. Amen. I will say this. Mario Cristobal would be a hell of an NFL coach. He would be Dan Campbell times 100. What else? We have awesome head coaching in Miami. Now we need to nail the Dolphins head coach. Well, we got to make sure that the GM is the right guy and then the head coach. So I do like what I see from John Eric Sullivan. Hopefully he's the guy, but he has to prove it to all of us that he's the guy. And we'll find out this offseason when he starts and then the draft. And good for him. He's got extra picks, man. That is a blessing for a new GM. He's got extra picks. That will make his life a lot easier, and it will cut the time in you having to turn your thing around here because you've got the extra picks. So I like it. By the way, the Bob will be in net tonight, according to Paul Maurice. Okay. Kachuk and Marshawn remain out. But eventually they'll get Kachuk, Marshawn. Dude, what's the status for Kulikov? Can you find that out, Sean? Is there any? Because that's another one too. They've got several injuries. If they can get a bunch of those guys back, unlike the Heat, and let me talk a little bit about this. Okay. The Heat lost last night, 119 to 114. There's a huge controversy going on with Ware because he played like 9 minutes and had 5 rebounds, and Spo addressed it after about what's going on with Ware. Look, let me explain something to all of you out there, okay? I don't know what is getting into some of you guys out there with the whole Ware and Spo thing. Who was right, Spo, Whiteside, or Riley? Spo. Spo didn't want Whiteside, but they shoved it on him. And Spo did the best he could with this idiot. So now he's got Ware, who clearly is immature, clearly does not play hard every night, does not understand his commitment that he has to have. And so Spo's being the hard ass that he is. And that's kind of the way it goes. And the kid is not going to be given minutes. So I understand what Spo is doing. Do I want the kid to play? Yes. But you don't develop someone by just playing them a bunch of minutes and then they're not productive in those minutes or they're not committed in those minutes. And so you're hoping that tonight you'll get 25 committed minutes, but tomorrow night you get a half-assed 25 committed minutes or 25 minutes where it's not half-assed, but you're not concentrated and you make mistakes or those kind of things. And so he can't deal with that. Like, is there ever an energy problem or any kind of issue with Pallel Larson? Never. And so then that's why when he's healthy and going, you'll play him and you will not fear. So I have no problem with the fact that Ware has to earn his keep. But what the real problem is, it's not this dynamic and this fight between these two guys. Okay? That's a little side subject to the whole thing. Your real problem is that the whole big picture is so ugly and so frustrating, it then climbs onto this one issue. The front office for the Heat, well, they are failures. What else can I tell you? The ownership for the Miami Heat currently, they are failures. That's what's going on. They don't know what they're doing. Sorry, but that's what's going on. They refuse to reset the team. They keep thinking that Bam and Tyler are something special. You know how bad the Heat are? Here's how bad the Heat are. Here's how bad Pat Riley, the Arisons, and everyone else in their scouting department is. Do you know how bad they are? I'm better than they are. Some idiot, big mouth talk show host is 100 times better than Pat Riley and that entire front office and the ownership of the Miami Heat. Why? They didn't know that they shouldn't trade for Kyle Lowry. They didn't know that they shouldn't have extended Jimmy Butler, and they shouldn't have given him any. After that second trip to the finals, they should have traded him. They don't know that they should have never extended Whiteside or Dion Waiters or James Johnson. They have hung on for Tyler Hero when he was 6th man of the year. They should have traded him away, like I said. So the fact that they still don't know that they need to trade Powell and Wiggins and Bam and Tyler and reset the whole thing. The fact that Orlando Alzigari Jr. knows more about front office basketball than the Miami Heat the last 10 years. That's bad, bro. That's horrible. That's disgusting. That's embarrassing. So if I would have sat there with them over the last 10 years, they wouldn't have made any of these mistakes. And by the way, none of it is hindsight. Not one goddamn one of them. Every one of them I've talked about before it happened. Every one. Kyle Lowry, no, you don't trade for Kyle. They ended up trading for him. How stupid can you be? Why? Why would you do that? And again, because they are refusing to see what Detroit has done, what OKC has done. No, let's just look at Philadelphia because they failed. But meanwhile, Houston's succeeding, San Antonio's succeeding. But no, let's focus on Philadelphia because they're the only ones that tore it down and tried to rebuild it, and the process didn't work. But the process is working like crazy at OKC. It's working in Detroit. But somehow or another, it's not good enough for Miami. So your frustrations about Khalil Ware and everything going on with Spo, none of that is saving the Heat anyways. So who are we kidding? Spo is doing, he's the only one that has credibility now in that organization. The front office has lost it, and the ownership has lost it. Let's be honest, right? I know they're not going to be honest in other outlets. I mean, it's taken me forever to convince Ira Winderman that Bam is a super role player. It took what, Sean? How many years? How many years? He finally, like 4 or 5, right, or something? He finally came around. He finally came around for Tyler. And that's the entire lot that covers them. That's all the writers. Because they all talked up Bam. And I'm the only guy for years going, he's not a star. He's not a star. But the Heat sold it. Media bought it, except this guy. So this is what you need to know about where the Miami Heat stand. That Orlando Alzigari makes better personnel decisions than Pat Riley and Mickey Arison combined the last 10 years. That's terrible. And that's where your frustrations come from. That this organization is chasing its tail. It's just sitting on a hamster wheel. It's stuck in its old ways. You don't trade for big stars anymore. You can't do that anymore. And when you want one star nowadays, you need a shitload of first rounders. And if you also want to rebuild your team, you need to tear it down and be bad and go into the lottery. And by the way, hurry up and do it before they change the rules. And they don't allow you to do that anymore. But again, the Heat are putting themselves behind the 8 ball once again. Because the last couple of years, instead of doing all this stupid ass play-in crap, you could have torn it down and you could have gone to the lottery a couple times and who knows what you land. I know this. I'll give the Heat this, that if they go to the lottery, I can at least feel pretty good that they'll land a pretty decent player in the lottery and maybe a star. But the way they're going about it, they'll never build a team. They'll never get stars. They still have no – the team that used to bring in stars all the time cannot even acquire one. The team that used to bring in stars all the time cannot acquire one. So, you guys want to fight about the minutia? Khalil Ware and Spo? You go ahead. Go ahead and waste your time. Okay? The real problem with the Miami Heat is that the Arisons and Riley and the front office refuse to do what they need to do to fix the problem. That's the real. And by the way, since I've been right for the last 10 years and they've been wrong for the last 10 years, I'm going to think that I'm right again on this one. The only way to fix it is to tear it down. If you don't, you will continue to do the same stupid shit you're doing every year. But go ahead, man. Be a playing team. Be whatever you want. You're not going anywhere. But go ahead and focus on the Khalil Ware thing. Yeah. Yeah, that really is such an issue. Fix that and you fix everything with the Miami Heat. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. All right, we are off for the weekend, I think. I think. Not exactly sure. If anything big happens, we'll pop in. But I think we're going to be off and enjoying the weekend. And we'll be back on Monday with a long Monday, obviously, because we'll have our show in the morning. And then we'll come back for the post-game show. And then Tuesday, good thing is Tuesday afternoon, I get to sleep in a little bit. So that's good. We appreciate all of you out there that reached out to the show. Hit the like button. All right. Appreciate you. Hit that like button before you go. You can make a donation to the show anytime, anywhere. Cash App or Venmo. Make sure you visit our amazing sponsors like Fort Lauderdale United. They're off till the 31st. Get your tickets at FTLUTD.com. EJD Construction. Eric and the folks do great work. Welt and Rayom. Canes Ware. Use our code BIG010 so you can get 10% off. Sloman's Home Shield, baby. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them that Big O sent you. Laser Eye Center of Miami. If you got cataracts, you need laser surgery, they can take care of you. Great people. Our entire family has gotten it done there. Toyota of Hollywood, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Subaru of Pembroke Pines, all Zinn dealerships. Great work by them. Love them as always. R&M Contractors, Ray and Mike do excellent work all year. Cooling and plumbing, #1 in the state of Florida. Hialeah Park Casino. Get that app, make the bets, go out there and enjoy a smoke-free casino, which is a beautiful thing. BigCheeseMiami.com. They are, in fact, this week they are closed, by the way. They are revamping a little bit in the kitchen, and then they're open back again next week. But BigCheeseMiami.com, baby. Get on out there, enjoy some great food. Murias Dental. Love Murias, always getting it done. And we appreciate Sean Stanley as always, the man that masters it all. Appreciate all of you out there that tuned in. We shall see you on Monday morning. Same time. Same place. Same bat channel. Go Canes.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.